You're watching Fox Sports, home to the UEFA Champions League Final, the World Series, Super Bowl 45, the Daytona 500, and FoxSports.com.
We are Fox Sports!
Jimmie Johnson scores his 50th career Sprint Cup win.
Yes, yes, yes!
Best closer I've ever seen in the sport.
3 wins in 5 races.
This 48 team is a dynasty in the making.
I'd rather lose to any other 41 cars out there than this 48 car. I thought we had him beat.
Attaboy. With Jimmie on a roll, that's a bad sign for the rest of the drivers in NASCAR.
Well, they're really good, but they're really, really lucky, too. They have a golden horseshoe stuck up there.
Hey, you're chasing a champion right here. Don't forget that.
This thing has got Jimmie Johnson written all over it.
What could stop them?
It's the best crew chief driver relationship I've seen.
Seen any history?
It may be ever.
You don't get lucky and win 4 championships.
And they're all chasing Jimmie Johnson. Kurt Busch had some harsh words after what happened last week. Denny Hamlin has won here in Virginia a couple of times. Jeff Gordon has won 7 times coming out of the drivers' meeting. And Kevin Harvick, can he hold the points lead for at least one more race? Fox Sports welcomes you to NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing from Martinsville, presented by Nationwide Insurance. And it may be a small track, but the action is always big on NASCAR's oldest and shortest track, turning a little neighborhood in Virginia into a major scene. Now, there's rain in the air, but so far, so good. It should not alter the focus of the drivers and what's on their mind, and that's stopping the 48 team and Jimmie Johnson. Our Hollywood Hotel, smack dab in the middle of it all, to bring you closer to the action with Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Hammond, and Chris Myers. And thanks for being with us. Hope you're having a good day so far. And, well, the weather, a 500-lap race, could this turn into a 250-lap race, making it official? Does that change the approach right from the start?
I think it does, don't you, Jeff? I mean, you got to have 2 strategies. You got to have your halfway strategy, and what am I going to do to be in front at that point? Then you got to have the whole race strategy in case we don't get rain. So it definitely affects the race.
You know what? I'm real proud of this guy here. Here's a driver talking like a crew chief. Yes, you're exactly right. You've got to have that kind of thought process, Darrell. And talking to a lot of crew chiefs today, they're looking at exactly that. We've got to have track position when it matters the most, right about halfway, and then we'll make the decision what we're going to do from then.
All right, Jimmie Johnson, you know, Jimmie's been dominating, but not real thrilled with his car this weekend.
No, I watched him in practice yesterday, but this is what this group does. And Jimmie Johnson told me something I think is really important. He said, Chad and me and this team are maturing together. We're on the top of our game, and we're all getting there together. As long as this team stays together, I don't care what kind of practice they had. He'll be good on Sunday.
As you said, he's a great closer. And in Bristol last week, he turned it into Johnson City. Jimmie capturing his 50th career win. He might turn Martinsville into Johnsonville. And, of course, he's had 3 wins already in 5 Cup races this year. Meanwhile, the spoiler is returning. Jeff Hammond will take a closer look. The wing goes out the window. He'll explain. And rain Friday canceled qualifying, so Kevin Harvick is on the pole because he is currently the points leader. Denny Hamlin did announce, too, he has to go to surgery tomorrow for that knee problem. Casey Mears is on standby. A number of storylines that we'll be watching today, but the hot driver, Jimmie Johnson, and the hot team. You know, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff, came in this week, and he's kind of liking his car. Maybe he could be the challenger today.
He could be, because, I mean, again, this is a racetrack that's been really good for him. I mean, not wins, but at the same time, he runs well here, and it's kind of like where he started off his career. When you think about places like Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where he raced a lot, he'll be good today if they're able to get on the same page quick enough and making the right kind of adjustments.
Yeah, drivers like short tracks because it's where the driver can make a difference. The car is fast, you know, on some of the super speedways, you got that's good, but here the driver is in control, and the driver makes the difference. That's why you get so jacked up about coming to these short tracks.
And Jeff Gordon making some late adjustments, also part of that Hendrick team, of course, with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmie Johnson. Let's bring in the men who, along with Darrell Waltrip, will call today's race. Larry McReynolds, Mike Joy, and I know this is, Mike, your favorite track, both inside and outside.
Thanks, Chris. It's really pretty funny, Larry, how this nice, sleepy little residential street a couple of weekends a year becomes a great corner of capitalism. You can get breakfast on the way walking into the track. There's cars parked on every inch of grass. And here we go with the crowd.
Well, it's like tailgating at a college football game with the stadium sitting right in the middle of a neighborhood. But, Mike, the biggest thing, anticipation. We only have 6 short track races at 3 short tracks. I don't think anybody can wait to get this short track race started.
How about some breakfast?
I am starving to death.
Hey, they got bologna burgers just like South
Beautiful,
Boston.
beautiful.
Tell you what, folks, while we get some breakfast, let's show you what makes Martinsville Speedway so special.
It's the shortest track in NASCAR. It's also the oldest. Martinsville Speedway opened in 1947. The racing here is unique, and so is the winner's trophy.
I have a warehouse, and my grandfather clocks are all set up there looking really good.
No one has won more grandfather clocks here than Richard Petty's 15. Recently, it's been dominated by a NASCAR champion and one of Virginia's own.
It's a track that I absolutely hated when I came onto the scene, but it's now become one of my strongest tracks.
It seems like every time we go to that racetrack, it's 11 and 48 going at it. So I consider those more prizes of beating Jimmie than anything.
The track had a seating capacity of just 750 when it opened. Since then, it's grown and become beloved by Virginia's race fans.
It's a great place to race. We have a lot of great fans in the Commonwealth. Martinsville's always sold out. I mean, I started going down when I was 3 and 4 years old.
Martinsville is such a cool little town. I think what makes it special is the environment that when we come, it pumps the city up.
Oh, and it also has a nice little mid-race snack.
I think the good thing about them is that you can buy them like 2 or 3 at a time, and the way they're built, they're pretty easy to hold. You can hold a bunch of them at one time.
The track, the trophy, the food, and the community have made Martinsville a NASCAR tradition.
I used to pay money, buy tickets to come watch these guys race for 500 laps, and then here I am being able to do the same thing. So a great feeling for us to be able to do that.
Mike, that's why all these fans will even brave weather like this to see a great short track race at Martinsville.
It's the atmosphere, it's the history, it's the contact. It's fun.
Yes, it is.
How's your breakfast?
It's delicious.
Well, we got a race to do, and hopefully the weather's going to let us get it in. So let's get on up to the booth. And Chris, Jeff, back to you.
They already forgot about Darrell? Your third guy in the booth?
That's your buddies right there, friend.
What are you, a chopped hot dog?
No, bologna burgers for those two.
Hey, what did you 11 times you won here. What do you do with all your grandfather clocks?
I've spread them around, one here, one there. I got one. Give everybody one.
No excuse to be late then, right? You're always on time. All right.
The cuckoo bird.
But you were talking about, it was nice to see both Mike and Larry out in the neighborhood, how the neighborhood is the race. It feels that way.
Well, it's like going down to the local park. You turn off the highway out here. You come down in this little sleepy road. There's houses everywhere. It's like going down to the park and going to the playground. Except this ain't no playground.
Yeah, that's right. We'll get more into that. We're going to check on the weather. This half-mile track, the tightest pit road we'll see all year. And to cover it for us, the best pit people in the business. Let's begin with Krista Voda. Hi, Krista.
Thanks, Chris. Kevin Harvick is going to send Mother Nature a thank you card. How important is the gift he inherited? I'll ask him.
Martinsville has one of the most sought-after trophies, a grandfather clock. Jimmie Johnson has 6. We'll talk to him about his chances for a 7th.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. battled to a top 10 finish at Bristol and is now in the top 10 of points, but there were some tense exchanges between driver and crew chief. Is everything copacetic in the 88 camp? We'll ask the pit boss.
Many people thought Denny Hamlin would be this year's driving champion, but tomorrow, unexpected surgery. I'll ask him about it.
All right, thanks, Dick. Nice hat. Here's what's ahead on the show. Around the turn, you might have heard that the rear wing is being kicked to the curb. The spoiler is back, and our Jeff Hama will tell you everything you need to know about it and why he's so excited. And he started off washing car parts. Today he's one of the most well-known owners in all of motorsports. We'll get up close with Roger Penske Jr. and Kurt Busch. Start day in Bristol. They lit things up, though, in Thunder Valley. We'll find out about their heated comments and what they have to say. Plus, Carl Edwards trying for a quick getaway with a slice of Peasy, and a Martinsville hot dog will contribute on Gas and Go. This is Fox NASCAR Sunday. NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is presented by Nationwide Insurance. Call or visit us online for a quote today. And we welcome you to Sprint Cup Racing from Martinsville, presented by Nationwide Insurance. We're in southern Virginia, just above the North Carolina border. It's cold out there. Last week in Bristol, the heavy rain held off just enough, stayed away from the racetrack. Today, we're watching another story. Rick Dickert is our storm scout. He's indoors at our Fox Sports Weather Center. And Rick, watching the weather closely, specifically for us and those watching the race. So I want you to be optimistic but realistic. Rick, what are we looking at?
It doesn't look too good. We're watching this area of low pressure. It's to the west. It's gradually pushing towards the Martinsville area. And we're seeing some showers just west and southwest of the track. There's a chance of showers at green flag time. Temperatures cool, as we said, upper 50s and lower 50s. It's going to be a cloudy and humid day as well. Heavier rain later on. As the afternoon progresses, the rain chance will increase by about 3 o'clock. We could see about 1/4 to 1/3 of an inch of rain, and there's even a flash flood watch in effect because of the heavy rain and even possible thunderstorms by 5 o'clock. So the faster the race, Chris, the better chance we have of seeing 250 laps. And I will watch the radar, and if we do have some delays, you guys can come back to me and I'll show you that radar.
Well, last week you were all over it, and I don't take this the wrong way. We hope we don't see you again today, Rick, okay?
I know, me too.
That means we're racing, so at the laps.
He says the same thing about us.
He said, right, even when it isn't raining. So, Darryl, what, about 22nd laps under green here, so within a 2-hour window we could get halfway?
Yeah, it usually takes about 3.5 hours to run this race, so if we can get an hour 45, 2 hours at the most, we'll be okay. We'll get to halfway anyhow, and that's what we're trying to do.
And, Chris, the big thing about it is, as far as the crew chief's concerned, and even the drivers, it is so frustrating to start a day out knowing that you're not only racing the competition, but now you got to race Mother Nature, and whether you're going to get this thing in, you don't know how hard to run your car as a driver or how hard to let your crew chief to let your driver run the car. That's a big, big problem.
Yeah, well, pit strategy is the other thing. You know, if you're sitting here right on the edge of rain, you say, I'm going to pit, and you end up 31st. You're in trouble.
So we're going to see, kind of a quick pace to start this race. And each week, when we map out the pre-race show, we always wrestle with how we should lead you into a slice of Peasy. That's probably better than having a driver have to wrestle with Chris Peasy. So here is one of your favorite drivers with one of their least favorite interviewers.
Welcome to another edition of A Slice of Peasy. This time we have the amazing Carl Edwards, my pick to win this year's Sprint Cup. I just want you to know that, all right?
Thank you very much.
He's also known as Hot Carl to the ladies. Hot Carl. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hot Carl.
Are you hungry?
I could eat. Yeah. What do you?
Pizza?
Oh boy. I'm good. I'm fine.
You sure it's delicious?
I really appreciate it. It's I'm good.
Yeah. You know, I'll break it in for you. All right.
All right. Oh, yeah.
I'll put it right there. We're good. Is John Edwards your father too?
What channel is this on?
Fox.
Okay. No, don't.
If it was on another channel, you'd say yes.
I was just wondering.
Okay. All right. Do you worry that appearing bare-chested on, magazines all over the place has hurt your chance to get a T-shirt company sponsorship?
That's a good question. I hadn't thought of that. I'm maybe.
You do backflips when you get out of the car after a win. Well, to celebrate the best interview ever on Slice of Peasy with you, Carl, I want to do a backflip. You think I can do it?
Let's
what
see
do you think?
Let's see. No, wait. You probably should.
No, you should.
No, sit down.
One.
Sit down. Hey, have the Peasy. Have the Peasy. Just sit down. That's a good way to celebrate right there. That should be fun.
All right.
We'll be back after this.
Finally,
I like it.
It's a home run.
Control.
He hit one out of the park. All right. You can see more on Cubed at foxsports.com. A Life of Queasy or something like that. Coming up, we'll reveal the names of the drivers who will be the top 4 seeds in the head-to-head contest on DirecTV. And we'll also talk with Kurt Busch in just a bit. Race 6 of 36 for the Sprint Cup Championship. This is the points total. Kevin Harvick leads. And look at that, Matt Kenseth just by 1 point. 7 of the current top 12 drivers were the guys who missed the chase last year. Carl Edwards just out of the top 12. Mark Martin dropped out of the top 12 after being caught up in a wreck at Bristol. Look down at the bottom there. Casey Kane, Juan Pablo Montoya, Darrell Jeff, guys that were part of the chase last year.
Those guys are in trouble. We're 5th race of the year. They're behind, and they're way behind. They got a lot of work to do.
You know what? They're not listening to your statistics. You go talk to Juan Pablo Montoya and Brian Patty. They believe they can fight their way back up in there, and they got a lot of work to do along with Mark Martin, but it can be done.
Because they're behind, they got to change the way they race.
Right. Yeah.
They got to quit trying to win and just finish.
Yeah, Montoya, you said this kind of a road course here, at least. I mean, this might be a track he can make up some ground, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Here, the driver has so much to do with getting the car in the corner, how you work those brakes, get it in there, and get her settled down. So the driver gets it in, the crew chief gets it off.
All right, great racing contest called DirecTV NASCAR Head-to-Head Knockout. We've been talking about it. The contest starts in Texas coming up next month. We're about to announce the #1 seeds right here.
It's a great contest, Chris. When you get the idea, folks, you get a chance to pick the winner, the driver versus driver matchups, and the winning driver they advance to the next round.
And the championship will be decided down in Darlington with the fastest four showdown, baby.
I like that.
Like us.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, fast. The perfect bracket for a fan, you get $1 million. These are the #1 seeds. Well, that's a pretty good group to start with, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, I like that. I'd take any one of those guys and put them against the field.
Twice on Sunday.
And the bracket's announced. Mike and Larry will join Jeff and Daryl in our Phoenix broadcast in a couple of weeks. Follow the matchups only on DirecTV. For more information, go to directv.com/NASCAR. You can win cash as well. Well, when you hear the word spoiler, you think that maybe it's somebody who yells, "It's going to sink," halfway through the movie The Titanic. Or a spoiler could be a batter who gets a hit in the 9th inning, breaks up a no-hitter or a perfect game. But, Jeff, for NASCAR fans, when you hear the word spoiler, it's a good thing.
It really is, Chris. And normally you say, out with the old and in with the new. Well, this time we put everything in reverse.
The wing is gone. Fly out of here. The old school look is back.
Well, I think the spoiler makes the car look a hell of a lot better. I think the cars look a lot cooler. It looks more like a race car. It looks more like what we've been seeing since the 50s and 60s.
NASCAR, along with the teams, tried to make it as simple as possible. Just unbolt the wing and bolt on this rear spoiler. Now, to complete this package, they added 4 inches to the rear quarter panel, and they brought back the shark fin, which we saw at Daytona. They've also made the rear spoiler 64.5 inches wide, 70-degree angle, no more, no less. Now, why did NASCAR do this?
The spoiler is more traditional for NASCAR and NASCAR fans. That cosmetic appearance is important, and we can accomplish the aero effort that we want to accomplish. Why would we not just put the spoiler back on?
NASCAR requires the teams to purchase the rear spoilers from Richardson Racing Products, which come with his logo and a serial number, which NASCAR assigns to each team. Now, it's the team's responsibility to show up each week with their assigned spoilers, with the exception of Talladega and Daytona, which, once again, NASCAR will issue those spoilers for those events. Now, a couple of questions that have come up this week already. Will it make a difference at Martinsville? The answer, no. But
Texas is going to be our first real test.
We don't know is what happens when you get underneath another car. What happens when you get behind another car? What happens when another car gets behind you?
I'm certainly anxious to get to Texas and test all that out.
Will this slow down the 48 car and Jimmie Johnson? I mean, think about that. No.
Jeff's always said, Daryl, as a driver, I know you like routine. You don't want changes and all. This will be a good change. But what kind of focus and what will we see here? What immediate impact?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. They talk about aero not being important on a half-mile racetrack. You're in 130 mile an hour here. I know teams that have taken cars to wind tunnel after a Martinsville race to show the driver how important aero is when you beat those fenders in and if you took that spoiler off.
We just get tired of you tearing up the race car, but it's not going to make any difference here. It's all about mechanical forward bite and things like that today. It's not about aerodynamics.
Are there certain drivers or teams that will adapt to this quicker than others?
Absolutely. I mean, there are guys, let's face it, the 48 team, Hendrick Motorsports, they're way ahead of the curve right now.
NASCAR did all the work for them. They put it back with the spoiler and the shark fin and everything else. It's basically back like it was, so it's not going to change anything.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmie Johnson.
But it does look much better.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you said intelligent yet.
Wow. Jimmie Johnson won 22 races, by far the most in that 3-year span with the rear wing. All right, the driver who benefited the most from the rain that canceled Friday's qualifying session here, Kevin Harvick. And although he's on the pole, his points lead tenuous. Jeff, that comes after Ninuous. It's tenuous because he has never in his entire career finished in the top 5 at this track. Harvick, though, likes his chances today, right, Chris Devoda?
Yeah, that's true, but he's also never started on the front row here at Martinsville. Track position, pit selection, they are so key. I know this place isn't easy, Kevin, but how much easier does that pit stall make your job today?
Well, it's definitely not going to hurt anything, that's for sure. We made a lot of changes on our shell Pennzoil Chevrolet this morning, and it looked like most of the garage was the same way. Just the tires are falling off a little bit more than what we're used to, which is a good thing. That's not a bad thing at all. So you're just going to have to manage the tires today, and obviously starting up front and having the first pit stall will definitely be a benefit for us.
Well, that's one of the perks on weekends like this, to being the points leader. Also, I would imagine morale booster. You're an owner also. You know what morale is like for this team. Is that important at this stage in the game?
Definitely. I mean, obviously we want to have as good a first 5 weeks as we did. We'd obviously like them to have been better, but we were able to benefit from the points this weekend with the rain, and that's what we got to do. We got to do what we have to do to stay up there and then keep racing hard.
All right, well, he also had that pit stall for the truck race, and he only led 187 of the 250 laps. Chris?
All right, thanks, Kristen. Kevin, have a Coke and a smile. That 1-point lead, though, very narrow, right?
Well, you would say, you know, these guys go back out sometime, and you say, what are they doing? Well, 1 point. He's starting on the pole today because he has a 1-point lead. He has the first pit. All those things are big and winning here at Martinsville.
Well, speaking of big, the adjustments that he was talking about, I think down in the garage area, that's going to be the key today. Everybody understands these tires drop off, but the guy that can get that race car to hook up the best, the longest, as always, but it's really going to be a test today. A lot of shock changes in the garage early today.
Lance McGrew, crew chief for Junior, we'll be chatting with him. But Kurt Busch coming up, he dominated last week. Most laps he's ever led in the race. Had some stirring comments afterwards. We'll talk live with him in just a moment. NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox, presented by Nationwide Insurance, is sponsored by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
Jimmie Johnson wins at Bristol.
I'd rather lose to any other 41 cars out there than this 48 car.
After last week's tough third-place finish, Kurt Busch should be applauded for having the class to stick around and be interviewed. And this week, he hopes the interview takes place with him in victory lane. And why not? Former Cup champion, 21 career wins, including one here at Martinsville.
Right now, Kurt Busch is on the fast track.
Look at that 2 car. Man, that 2 is so good.
Kurt Busch giving the field the goodbye look.
And in the Blue Deuce, the Miller Lite Dodge, Kurt is with us. Get ready to roll. Kurt, thanks for being with us. And a quick adjustment on strategy, or did you expect the rain, the cold weather as a threat as you get ready to run this race that might be shorter than the 500 laps?
Yeah, it's tough with the rain and the weather, and you want to make adjustments on the car. But for us, we're going to stick with what we have, and hopefully that'll be the best combination for our Miller Lite Dodge. I was hanging with the governor of Virginia earlier, talking with him, hoping that we'd have sunny skies today. And, you know, NASCAR is very important to the state of Virginia, now that I pay taxes in Virginia as well.
Hey, Curtis, DW, clear something up for me, buddy. I know last week when the race was over with, you were very upset. You were throwing things and kicking things. And how much of that frustration was from getting beaten by the 48, but also tell me if there was a conversation between you and Addington about taking 2 or 4.
Yeah, I was just very frustrated to lead that many laps last week at a track that I feel very comfortable on. I love Bristol, won there almost half a dozen times, and just to have the end of the race come down to we were stuck on the low lane, he was given the high lane, and the low lane bottled up. That's the luck of the draw on the double file restarts. That was more the frustration, but then to have the 48 go to victory lane, I'm like, come on, this is insane how we just wins all the time. So, you know, we're not ready to compete with them week in and week out. I just thought we could handle them at Bristol, and then we wanted to do 4 tires the whole time. There was no miscommunication. We just didn't get them aired up quick enough in all 4 tires. We only got the right sides aired up for the short run. That was the miscommunication.
Chris, I mean, the thing is, Kurt, as Chris sitting there looking at me, Kurt, right quick, the thing is, you guys are the lone Dodge representative now. Is this a plus as far as the chase is concerned and trying to win a point championship, or is it going to wind up being a negative?
Well, we feel like it's a plus, and to have Ralph Giles, the CEO, and his phone number and texting back and forth on a buddy relationship, I feel his passion and his direction with this program, and to have him teamed up with Roger Penske, it doesn't matter what manufacturer we're going to race for, but this Dodge group feels like family, and I'm proud to carry the banner right now, and we got Keselowski gaining speed, and Hornish looks strong. We want to do it for Dodge this year, even though we look like underdogs.
Yeah, and as you can see, it led the most laps of any driver and 6th in points. Good luck, Kurt, and we'll talk to you. Thanks again.
All right, thanks, guys.
And, you know, last week, Kurt Busch dominated the race. Jimmie Johnson won. A few weeks ago in Vegas, Jeff Gordon dominated. Jimmie Johnson won. Today, Johnson a chance to be only the 3rd driver in NASCAR history to win 4 of the first 6 races. Johnson's a human target. You can catch that Wednesday nights on Fox, by the way. It's enough to make the rest of the field order bumper stickers that say, honk if you're tired of Jimmie Johnson.
I don't think there's anybody out here that isn't sick of Jimmie winning.
I'm just sick of not being able to keep up with him.
What I'm sick of is that we aren't the ones doing it.
I don't like seeing him win every week because I want to win. That 48's the best of the best. Until somebody proves that they can stop the 48, I don't think they're going to be stopped. Chad and Jimmie got it figured out.
It's not their responsibility to give it to us. It's our responsibility to go take it.
I want to get back into what we talked about here about
Yeah.
Well, you know, Kurt Busch was the best threat to Hendrick last year in the points, and he said we're not ready to compete week in, week out. But who is with Jimmie Johnson?
Well, I think that, you know, the Childress cars really look strong this year. I've been impressed with them. Harvick's on the pole today. Jeff Burton's running good. Boyer's running good. Montoya, even though he's way back in the points, he's a threat to win any week. So, and Matt Kenseth, there's a number of guys that can get it done.
I'm not going to disagree with you right there, but I think a lot of the people that can possibly beat him actually come within his own organization. And again, you haven't even mentioned Matt Kenseth and Roush Fenway. They've gotten better. He's second in points right now, and he has won a championship before.
Roush Fenway Fords haven't done really well here. But, Darrell, you've raced against some of the greats of all time. And Jimmie Johnson, we can say he's that, and his career's not done yet. But you also know how it feels when other drivers have, like, had enough of your success.
Well, I have walked into drivers' meetings through the years, and on the blackboard, the competition director will write anybody, and you fill in the blank. Anybody but Earnhardt, anybody but Petty, anybody but Gordon, anybody but Waltrip. I know how that feels to have the target on your back. It's kind of fun, really. I dug it.
Does a driver get into another driver's head or a crew chief's head?
I think from time to time they do. I mean, a lot of people right now, I think, Darrell, we were talking about the fact that how Chad Knaus has gotten in some of these crew chiefs guys, their heads. But to me, when you look at even like today, there he is, Chad Knaus. I mean, he is arguably the best crew chief right now in that garage area. But today, he picked the pit number 34, which is way back around almost, you know, into turn 4. And everybody's going to say, well, why in the world did you do that? He likes that position because he likes to get his guy on pit road early and let him race his way off, and it's been paying off every time.
Where's Chad going?
We've been
What's Chad doing? Monkey see, monkey do.
All right, well, Jimmy, we know where he's usually going. Victory Lane. He has won 6 times on this track. Part of a career total we mentioned, he's already hit the 50-win mark, currently tied for 10th all-time with Ned Jarrett and Junior Johnson, and that deserves a wow.
Jimmie Johnson.
Here comes Jimmie Johnson.
Jimmie Johnson scores his 50th career Sprint Cup win.
Wow is an understatement. So much success, the biggest part of it always seems to be mental, as we're already getting bumped here at Martinsville. So much success is mental, and by the way, Vickers is getting you too. Is it easier with your team's confidence and success and history here to play mind games with the competition a little bit?
I guess it can happen, and you know, it's not something that we set out to do, and I've tried it in the past, and I tried it with one of the best, which is Tony, and it didn't work in 2005, so I've given up on that. But we seem to have that working for us right now, and if it is, great, we'll take it, but it's not something we're consciously working on.
And I'm so impressed with your focus of answering the question when everyone's messing with you. Looking at this racetrack, have you run out of rooms for another Martinsville clock?
No way, man. I'm sponsored by Lowe's, and we can add on, and we can build rooms and have plenty of places to put this clock. So we're excited. We've been learning a little bit with the new car here. Yesterday didn't go exactly how we wanted, but last night I think we hit on some things, and we've got a long race. Hopefully we go the full distance today, Monday, or Tuesday, and we should be good if we go the full distance.
And they start the day 3rd in the championship standings. Chris?
Thanks, Matt. Jimmy's like us. It's hard not to like him, no matter how successful he is, as the drivers are getting ready to deal with the weather. Hey, Judd White, we might have him book us a music act for later. And we'll chat with Roger Penske. We're live in Martinsville, Virginia. It's NASCAR on Fox. Glad you're with us for Fox NASCAR Sunday in Martinsville, Virginia. It's a little chilly out. Drivers are getting ready to roll. Some rain in the forecast for later in the day. Matt Kenseth could get the points lead. Just behind Harvick. Casey Kane's been up and down for him so far this year. And the scene Monday, Darrell Waltrip's famous number 11 Mountain Dew car enshrined already in NASCAR's new Hall of Fame. Darrell won 2 of his 3 championships in that car, 24 races, of course 84 victories overall, and the nickname Jaws. That car, of course, for talking about racing, congratulations to you. Part of 18 cars featured in the Hall's Glory Road.
Yeah, that's Glory Road, and there's going to be 18 cars up there. It's really fantastic. The Hall of Fame is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I mean, all the displays, interactive stuff, fans are going to love that place, I'm telling you.
And Chris, the other thing you don't want to forget about 50 days, 50 really unique items are going to go in each and every day, just like the 11 car until the grand opening.
The car is in. Darrell will be in at some point, the inaugural class, and the Hall of Fame opens May 11th, and then the induction ceremony May 23rd, just days after the All-Star race. You'll see that on Speed, but these are named certainly cornerstones in the great sport of NASCAR, and it will be a great destination for fans to check in Charlotte, North Carolina. Check it out at NASCAR's Hall of Fame. Forbes magazine, they had a recent list they put out of drivers' earnings, making up their salary, endorsement winnings altogether. Dale Earnhardt Jr. topping the list at $30 million made last year. Jeff Gordon second, Jimmie Johnson third. So no surprise that Hendrick Motorsports heads the Forbes race team list, a current value of $350 million. As for Penske Racing, that lone Dodge group valued at $110 million. How about those drivers? $30 million in a year, $20 million in a year?
Oh, really? I thought I was going to say I could be on that list.
Yeah, but that would be for your entire career. And even then, you're a few million short. But that's okay. You had great owners along the way. Roger Penske, speaking of owners, has been a success in just about everything he's had a hand in. Car ownership, dealership, truck leasing. Actually helped bring a Super Bowl to the city of Detroit. Once a top driver himself as an owner, Penske's racked up impressive victories in a variety of series, more than 20 championships, along with 15 Indy 500 wins. Now in his 70s, he hopes that this is the year he scales that NASCAR mountain he's yet to climb. When you hear names of guys in NASCAR, Joe Gibbs, Rick Hendrick, Richard Childress, where's Roger Penske in that?
Well, I guess I'm at the bottom of that list, but
why would you be at the bottom?
Well, I think that they've had more success in NASCAR. We've won, I think, 65 races. Rick is focused on NASCAR, so is Gibbs. Obviously, Childress has, and I think that at this particular time, you're going to see us challenging, hopefully, these big guys.
You were a driver of the year back in the 60s, so
long time ago.
But what do you look for in a driver? What's the one thing he must have to be a part of Penske Racing?
Well, I can tell you, my dad told me a long time ago, you don't want to be kicking someone in the butt. You want to be grabbing them, by the belt. And I want drivers that are obviously aggressive. I want them to be confident, I want them to be fair, and I want them to have high integrity.
And Kurt Busch has had a lot of success with you, but he's also showed a feisty side where you've had to, and we've seen reel him in a little.
I think we've got an issue on this 2-car right now. He has expressed himself very, very effectively to Roger Penske, and he is really unhappy about it.
I'm the car owner. You listen to me, okay? Tell me right now if you don't want to drive it.
I tell you, he's one of the very best drivers every single weekend. We just got to give him the right car. When we do, he wins. And think about it last year. Other than Hendricks, we were the next car in line in the championship, and it was because of Kurt Busch. Different, maybe a personality than Brad Keselowski or a Sam Hornish. But again, all these drivers are different.
Recently, the Brad Keselowski incident.
Right.
What was your reaction?
I put it behind me. Brad's put it behind him. And the drivers talked it out. And I said, guys, look, we're going to race 60 times this year, side by side. We may be not racing 2 inches apart. Maybe we got to race a foot apart. But there's been a lot of drivers that have been aggressive. And I think Brad is feeling his way. And I'm not sure he's any different than anybody else. So he's my driver. He's on our team, and I respect him and support him.
Growing up, you always said you had a thing for cars.
Well, I love cars, and as a kid, instead of going to dancing school, I guess I was working in the wash tubs, cleaning parks at home, and I was very fortunate to have a dad that stood by me the whole time. He said, Roger, if you want something, he said, if it's $20, you earn 10, I'll give you the other 10. So there was always that goal out there.
And how many races do you get to go to a year? And you bounce from one series to the next?
I don't want to say it. My wife might be listening, right? No, I try to hit probably 30 races a year. It's my golf game. It's my fishing trip, I guess, during the season.
And would a NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship have you hinting at maybe retiring or easing up a little?
I don't think I'd stop, but I tell you, it's certainly up there as one of my goals.
Team Penske, of course, Busch, Keselowski, Sam Hornish Jr., and he does have, the Daytona 500 win, but Darrell, Jeff, that getting a championship in NASCAR, that's more than just a goal. That's top of his list.
Yeah, one thing I noticed when he was talking about what you look for in drivers, he was describing himself.
Exactly right.
He wants his drivers to be like him. He wants them to be aggressive, and he wants them to have integrity, and he wants them to play fair. That's Roger Penske.
A lot of class right there, and you got to understand something, Chris. It's a lot like drivers wanting to win a Daytona 500. He's already won the 500. Now the next thing on his list is a championship, and that will put him, I think, in that caliber of owners that he wants to be so bad with Roush and with Hendrick and with Richard Childress for the guys who won championships.
He is
that'll complete him.
A captain and a gentleman. All right, Denny Hamlin started out this season on a tear. Unfortunately, it was his ACL. He tore it playing basketball in January. Initially, hoped to wait till after the season to repair the injury, but yesterday he made it clear again he was going to have surgery the upcoming week as soon as tomorrow. Currently, he's 19th in the point standings. A native of Virginia, Hamlin's won 2 of the last 4 races here in Martinsville.
Chesterfield, Virginia's Denny Hamlin.
He likes to go fast. 11 cars definitely be a factor.
He'll be like Superman.
Home, sweet home.
Well, Denny, the left knee. This is Martinsville 1,000 times with that left foot on the brake. You going to be okay this afternoon?
I think so. You know, really, Bristol wasn't an issue until, you know, afterwards, a day or so afterwards. But we had a brake issue there, and, you know, I had to use the pedal more than I usually do. Here, actually, I think that's why I'm good here is I don't use brakes. So, you know, hopefully we won't have any issues today. I really hope to get it in today so I can go ahead and get this thing over with tomorrow. And if I can't, I got to wait till Wednesday.
Project the rest of the year for us. Will you be okay as we get close to chase time?
Yeah, I mean, it's motivation for myself to really perform well and show that we can still, you know, overcome any perseverance that this race team has to go through. And everyone at FedEx is behind us, and we're getting ready for hopefully a strong chase this year. You know, I do believe that we'll still make the chase, and I am pretty confident we're going to be contenders when it counts.
Good luck in the race today and tomorrow in surgery.
Thank you.
Thanks. And, you know, Casey Mears is standing by. Darrell Driver, what kind of problems does that present, even if the surgery goes well and he gets a week of rest?
Well, a distraction is a distraction, and it keeps you from focusing and concentrating and doing your job. But that's a beautiful thing about the chase. All you got to be is in the top 12.
Get in, right.
And so if he can hang around and be in the top 12, and then he gets into the chase and the knee's all better, he'll be good to go.
The only thing that worries me about that kind of surgery right now, I remember when you had your injury, I always worried about getting caught up in another wreck that may, you know, hamper or hurt that, re-injure that knee after having all that surgery work done. So I'd be a little bit holding my breath.
Driver introductions taking place, and so far so good on the weather. Dale Earnhardt Jr., what was all the fuss about on the radio with his crew chief? Were they fussing about the race, each other? We'll talk with Lance McGrew in a moment. NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing, presented by Nationwide Insurance, is sponsored by AMP Energy. Go to ampupthe88.com this Wednesday, March 31st, to chat live with a member of the Hendrick Motorsports team. And by GoDaddy.com. GoDaddy.com, where the web is your domain. Hope you have a good Sunday, and thanks for being with us. Our aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. Learn how to win $1 million. Go to directv.com/NASCAR. Martinsville, Virginia, and getting ready for the race, hoping the weather will cooperate. Last week, after a pit road speeding penalty, Dale Earnhardt Jr. had to rally and did a nice job finishing in the top 10. And when your last name is Earnhardt, everything is magnified. It's a big deal. That includes even things like an exchange over the radio with crew chief Lance McGrew.
It's pushing like a truck. Don't lay down on me, bud. Keep digging. Get on the wheel. I can't lay down. Can't lay down here. It just don't turn. I don't ever lay down. Don't holler at me about that over the radio anyway for the whole world to hear about it. You have a habit of when something happens in the back, you lose sight of the big picture. Our big picture is to get as best finish we can here today.
All right, well, and Junior politely said, you know, I'd really rather not come on and talk about this. I want to focus on the race, as he's there with Matt Kenseth. I mean, that communication we know is key. Darrell, I would like it if everybody listened in on things that we talked about before we go on the air.
Ooh, that would be bad.
Especially
There'd
here,
be a lot of beep.
Yeah, a lot of beep, but that's part of the deal with Scan. You listen in, and obviously Junior was aware of the communication, but your emotions run hot when you're trying to win a race.
Hey, listen, some drivers have got buttons you just don't want to push. Hammond's pushed mine a couple of times.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
As a matter of fact, my wife told Hammond after a race one time, if you don't go down there and kick his butt, I'm going to.
Stevie said
That's
that?
how bad we got.
And I bet you got down there.
The best thing about it, I calmed the redhead down before she went down there to him.
All right, but Lance McGrew obviously has to deal with this. And let's check in with Steve Burns, who's with the crew chief for Dale Earnhardt Jr., Lance McGrew.
Well, thank you, Chris. You know, Lance, it's rare in our sport. We hear competitors in the heat of battle, and there were some exchanges. Was that taken out of context, or how do you view that moving forward to Martinsville?
No, I mean, I just see it as a typical lingo between the driver and the crew chief. I mean, you got a racetrack that's so loud like Bristol, it's hard to tone that down. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like listen to a little kid when they put earphones on and they're talking like real loud, and it's the same kind of thing. You know, I think it's a lot out of context. It's a lot of just typical conversation you hear between driver and crew chief. It's just everybody listens to us.
Lance, walking through the garage, a lot of teams are pointing at the 88 team. Dale Jr. has a lot of top 5 finishes here.
Yeah, and we got a cool new paint scheme for AMP Energy, sugar-free lighting this weekend, which is really awesome. And I actually wish we could run it all year because I like the way it looks. But the car has been spectacular since we unloaded. I think we would have qualified it equally as good, whether rain or shine. And yesterday in the final practice, average speed-wise, we were the fastest car. So anytime Dale Jr. gets out of a car, especially a place like this where he's had so many top fives, he flat out says, "I like the car," then you're good.
Good luck. Thanks for your time, Lance.
Go, man. Be good.
All right, thank you. And, a crew chief, you have to amp a guy up, but sometimes you got to amp him down a little, right?
As a crew chief, you've got to understand that's your job, is to accept all that verbal abuse so the driver can focus on driving the car. I mean, Daryl and I always had success thinking that no matter what was said on Sunday was forgot on Monday. I talked to Tony Uri Sr., who basically raised Dale Jr. through all this stuff, and he said that's just the way you got to deal with him. He will fuss at you. He will holler at you. You just got to take it with a grain of salt. Come in Monday. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Everything okay?
Move forward.
Forgotten.
Junior Johnson knew how to fire me up.
Yeah.
He would say those very words to me. He'd say, "Boy, don't you lay down on me." Okay. And I'd mean it would fire me up. I'd get up on the wheel, and he knew I was going to be worth a couple of tenths. That and call me Kale. And I look out.
And we, verbal abuse, we take that from a guy named David Blatt, who works here at the Hollywood Hotel every weekend. I don't know how we handle it.
You got your makeup done
yes,
yet?
I did. He asked me that when I leave. All right, let's check out some NASCAR news and notes. Larry Pearson, Charlie Glotzbach, they were involved in that Legends wreck at Bristol. The good news, Charlie's been released from the hospital. Larry Pearson is going to have surgery. Is expected to make a full recovery. Greg Biffle, along with his wife and the group Friends of Animals, will build an animal shelter and education center in North Carolina for medical and adoption services. That's a nice cause. And Denny Hamlin, as we talked about earlier, has the new paint scheme upcoming for the race in Phoenix. We hope he's ready to roll there. It's to help March of Dimes raise funds for awareness, March for Babies Blood. Time now for Gas and Go. I ask the questions. They provide the answers. The questions have been locked away with Jack
Giddy.
Bauer.
Why don't you just go?
You always interrupt me on that. All right.
I love that because you get upset about it.
All right, Daryl, you're on the clock. I'm pouting. All right, Daryl, is something wrong with the point system when the guy who's won 3 of 5 races, Jimmie Johnson, is not your championship points leader? He's third.
You know what? I get tired of hearing about points. These guys go out there. I know they talk about points all the time.
Points racing, I hear it all the time.
But I tell you, if you paid 1,000 points to the winner and 200 to second, you go out there every week, you give it all you got, you try to win, and the points fall where they may.
Well, he would be seated as the leader when the chase begins.
Got 30 bonus points, and that pays off big going into the chase.
Over the long haul of the season.
I don't want to hear any more about points.
It's about consistency.
Will he be leading when the chase comes around?
You bet you.
Okay. All right, then that's good enough. Jeff, what do you think of Jeff Gordon's chances today?
We
talked about how successful he's been here.
I think it's really good. I mean, again, Jeff does a really good job of adapting to this racetrack. It's one of his favorite places, and Daryl keeps talking about this being a driver's racetrack. That's one of the best guys ever got behind the wheel here at Martinsville.
He's won here 7 times. Daryl, what do you think of Kyle Busch's season so far? Moved into the top 12 last week, but hasn't had a top 5 finish in the last 9 races.
Well, remember what I told you about Jimmie Johnson, Chad Knaus? They're maturing together, and they stay together. They'll win a lot more races. Well, here's the deal with Kyle. He's got another crew chief, and they're trying to learn each other, and that takes time, and it's hurting his performance.
All right, we're waiting
and the clock is running.
The clock is ticking. All right, Jeff, you got a grandfather clock that he won for you.
That's exactly right.
Why does it seem like it's all or nothing for Casey Kane? He was 30th or worse in 3 of the 5 races. Then he was in the top 10 in the other 2.
Well, it seems like all of a sudden he gets something going along as far as he gets a car running up front, then they lose an engine or he gets caught up in a wreck. I think they've really got their program on track right now, but the end result has not paid out.
Real quick, uncertain about his future contract, Petty Motorsports.
Too much change in his career. I mean, they changed manufacturers, they changed, kept the same crew chief, that's good, but things have changed at Petty Motorsports.
Too many owners.
Too many things changing for him.
A lot happening. Daryl, will this place become Mark Martinsville for maybe the 3rd time? He's had success here. Where's he running? Does he don't like his car today?
He'll get a top 5.
Okay, good enough. All right, quick
answer.
Run,
top 5.
All right, Jeff, what upcoming track gives Juan Pablo Montoya his best chance for a win on an oval? We've already talked about him here today.
I like him here today, and again next week even in Phoenix. I mean, these places you've got to be finesseful. I think he has that kind of ability, and I like Brian Patty, especially at Phoenix. I think he does a good job of setting the car up.
1.5 miles, that's where he'll win.
All right, Daryl, which is tougher, 500 laps at Bristol or Martinsville?
I'll take Bristol.
Bristol's
much more. You got more side force at Bristol. Got that banking.
More finesse here with brakes.
This is a small world, but Bristol's a little faster and a little harder.
From a crew chief standpoint, which is tougher? You agree? Bristol more than here?
Bristol's harder on the cars, but one thing is here, if you keep them drivers off the brakes, it works pretty good. Them guys say, we want to wear my brakes out.
Got to slow down, baby.
Right quick, I want to say something.
Yeah, what's that?
Did you realize today is Chris Myers' birthday?
You guys do this every year.
Listen to me. Listen, I know I've got a special gift for you.
A special gift?
Gift.
Oh, a gift.
You know,
because
I want to make you laugh.
Okay.
And I know it's one of your favorite things. I got it.
What's that?
I got it sitting right
here.
We're going to roll tape.
great. Thank you. You were a good spot because I know you didn't want to see that again.
I've been trying to get away from that, just like you've been trying to outrun your age. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know,
you can't do either one.
Dick Berggren wants me to get into a new triathlon. You park your car, and then you go out and you play bingo and shuffleboard, and then that's it. That's what you do in semi-retirement. I don't know. All right, the drivers are waiting, and so are we. Daryl, things will pick up, I promise. Daryl's going to stay with Jeff and I here at the Hollywood Hotel. It's Fox NASCAR Sunday. It's chilly. It looks like the rain's let up here. So if he's smiling, I think we're going to go racing soon. We hope you stay with us. We got a lot more to go on the start of the race here in Virginia. This is Sprint Cup Racing from Martinsville, presented by Nationwide Insurance. Virginia drivers in this race, guys like Jeff Burton. We talked about Denny Hamlin and Elliott Sadler. Red Byron won the first race held back here in 1949. Dick Berggren was there. No, I'm kidding. I like
he was changing tires.
I like that. Let me get one. I haven't done a good Dick Berggren. You know, he's so old, but I saw walking around his cell phone. He doesn't have Bluetooth. He has Sabertooth on his. Hey, I kid because I care, Dick. All right, so we're getting word here that it looks like we're going to start the race. We're just not going to start it on time, so we have a few extra moments.
Yeah, they've got the dryers out there, and they're going to have to, you know, the guys are standing around with umbrellas. That's not a good sign.
No.
But Jeff just stepped out like a good crew chief does.
Just
he just went out by his pit box.
Look at there, Carl Edwards. He doesn't have an umbrella.
Jeff stepped out like always, stuck his finger in the air, and said, "Oh, it's not raining."
And predicted what was going to happen. So obviously, Daryl, you said at the top of the show, this is the kind of race where, and I heard, I think it was Tony Stewart say a while ago, hey, it's too early to be racing this way, but on a race like this where you know the rain is in the area, you have to probably start out and think of 250.
Yeah, you'll take a lot more chances. You know, it's only going to be 250 laps. You'll put the nose in there a little quicker than you would if it was a 500-lap race. So it picks up the intensity. Shorter race, more intensity.
You know, we always talk about give and take. Right now, take, then give.
Okay, so be out in front and find
it. You got it.
And we have Rick Dickert is standing by at the Fox Storm Scout Weather Center just for further updates. But let's proceed ahead as we hope to get this race underway shortly. A winding road of memories, and let's head trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Magna Vista High School Junior ROTC presents our nation's colors. Remain standing as Dr. Roger Marsh, Executive Director of the National Fellowship of Raceway Ministries, offers today's invocation.
Please pray with me. Heavenly Father, as we gather here at the Martinsville Speedway for NASCAR Sprint Cup Series racing, we thank you for the opportunity to assemble in freedom. And Father, we pray for those who defend our freedoms around the world. We ask you, Lord, to give them safety and success in all that they do. Thank you for the excitement of NASCAR racing and for all the people who are involved in producing and sustaining it. And we ask you now, Lord, to watch over all the drivers and teams as they compete in today's event. In Jesus' name I pray it. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome the Virginia Military Institute Glee Club.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of
heartwarming down-home rendition of our national anthem, and we'll find out if Jimmie Johnson can win for the 4th time in 6 races. The crews are ready. Will Harvick win from the pole? Is Dale Earnhardt Jr. ready to win? He likes his car today. Will he like it at the end of the day? This is Fox NASCAR Sunday. And the return of the spoiler may be spoiled a bit by cold and rain here in Martinsville, Virginia. We will try and get the race in delayed just a bit. Glad you're watching NASCAR on Fox. Darrell Waltrip, Chris Myers, Jeff Hammond, Mike and Larry up in the booth, and our team of pit reporters standing by, getting ready for the race. As
ready for the race.
Crew chief does. Your Verizon checklist, things we'll pay close attention to.
Yeah, and this is one of those times I can get Darrell to help me with it a little bit. Think about it like this here. Brakes, of course, DW. You got to take care of those brakes. Stay off them at all possible. But something you were really good at, throttle control. When you got 850 horsepower at the wheel, when you start stomping on it, all you're going to do is spin those back tires. And unfortunately, because of the weather, you got to learn how to manage the race, whether we're going to run halfway or whether we're going to go to the distance. You've got to be on your toes and realize this thing could be over in a hurry.
Yeah, you know what? I like Kevin Harvick's, he raced a truck race yesterday, and he won. We have a new tire here. Tire management is also a part of, getting this thing to the halfway point. Who can stay out there? What if you need to take 2 tires in order to keep your track position? So and having that knowledge from yesterday will pay off for Harvick today.
Yeah, yesterday the weather was so nice here. 500 laps scheduled. If 250, it's official around this half-mile track. We were talking about Jimmie Johnson's dominance, winning 3 of the 5 races coming in with crew chief Chad Knaus. Now, Jimmie's been signed to a long-term deal already with Hendrick Motorsports. They've begun talking with Chad Knaus about that, but the crew chief combo, will Chad play maybe the Ray Evernham card when he teamed with Jeff Gordon and try the open market, or do you lock him up and he might be the highest paid ever in the history of the sport?
That's his ace in the hole. Will he stay or will he go? That's what they don't know. But here's what I know about Jimmie Johnson. He might be GQ through the week, but he's GO on Sunday, and that's the other ace.
He better hope that Chad Knaus doesn't GO.
Exactly. I was going to say the same thing. I hope Rick Hendrick learned something from Ray Evernham leaving him. And I know Ray did a great job starting Dodge and getting him back into the racing world, but this is a great combination. When you've got a great combination, keep it together as long as you possibly can, because that's the only way I think you're going to end this reign of Jimmie Johnson is taking that variable away. And I'm not trying to say Jimmie can't win without Chad.
And Chad can't win without Jimmie.
Exactly, but it's harder to do. And don't ever think you can leave and come back. It's never the same.
There's 42 guys on pit road every Sunday that sit on top of that pit box and say, wonder what Chad's going to do. Wonder what Chad's going to do. Because you never know. Just think of Daytona. They won the 150 because they took no tires. They go to Vegas, they took 4 tires and won.
You wonder if Rick Hendrick is saying, I wonder what Chad's going to do. I better lock him up. because
Even
remember,
Rick Hendrick wonders what Chad's going to do.
And Ray Evernham with Jeff Gordon, they won 3 championships, right? And then there was one, Jeff won 1 with Loomis after.
Robbie Loomis, yes.
So you're just not as successful once that chemistry is built. And let's go up to the booth. Mike and Larry are standing by. And Larry, I'll start with you on that. I know you spent some time chatting with Chad Knaus. He's focused on winning races, but this is probably something he'd like to get decided one way or the other.
Well, it could be a distraction. There's no question. Anytime you have anything like that going on internally, whether it's a driver, whether it's a crew chief, maybe it's a sponsorship, it absolutely is a distraction. I spent a lot of time with Chad Knaus. I talked to Chad Knaus a lot, and certainly like anybody in that garage area, it's about making a living, making as much money as you can. But I do know this, Chad Knaus thrives on one thing, and that's winning races and winning championship, and that he obviously does a very good job at.
But let's face it, there's no better deal in town. Where could Chad go and have the resources, the experience, the commitment, and the talented driver that he's got now? And for Jimmie Johnson, too. Chad says the car's right, go for it, go for the win. Rick Hendrick told me this week, he says, I don't know what it is, but it's like the last 10 laps of a race. Jimmie stands up and gets up on the wheel. He gets so far up on the wheel. You saw that restart at Bristol. It's like the Red Sea parting. Here comes Jimmie right through the hole. It all closes up on Kurt Busch, but part of what made that happen was the call that Chad made, and I think more than anything, Larry, the trust they have in each other.
Well, yeah, and Darrell brought it up. You know, we listen to a lot of radio transmission from crew chiefs, spotters to the drivers. And when that caution comes out with 20 to go, you can listen to drivers say, what do you think we want to do? You can hear crew chiefs say, well, what do you want to do? Do you think you can hold them off with 2? When Chad Knaus makes a call, he says 4 tires. He says 2 tires. He says stay out. He says it without any question and with full confidence. And I think when he does that, that makes Jimmie Johnson believe in what he's saying.
Absolutely, and you see their success rate, whether they dominate the race or not. They have 3 victories in the first 5 races. So, Chris, we've been keeping score up here. It's 1 sack full of Martinsville hot dogs so far to the booth, and we did get Chris Peasy to eat his first ever bologna burger.
Okay.
He thought it was terrific.
Well, I enjoyed when you guys were wandering in outside the track a little bit earlier. Yeah, and he's also, Peasy's eating the birthday cake. I was thinking, when we talk about Chad Knaus, Jimmie Johnson, you think of Jimmie Johnson, the football coach, with Jerry Jones. Remember how great they were together, and when they separated, the success ratio was not there. So you're better off with each other. Carl Edwards hoping for a little bounce back success. Actually, he hasn't led a lap since last fall in a race. Our Steve Burns is standing by live with Carl Edwards. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Chris, thanks very much. And I believe it has quit raining. At least that's what we're going with. Now, Carl, I'm going to say this up front. You're going to be mad at me because I want you to tell the story about the first time you raced here in the Truck Series, and your nickname was?
My nickname was Kirby, and Brendan Gaughan was nice enough to give me that nickname because I kept going in and hitting the curb, and in my mind I thought I'll just kind of bump this curb and it'll be all right. And I bumped the curb, I'd shoot up, a car, or, a truck width, and I'd wreck somebody. So I had to go up and down pit road after the race and apologize to about 5 different people. But so Kirby stuck for a little while. The trick today or tomorrow will be not to hit the curb. You want to get as close as you can, but it's unforgiving. You can't just look the other way and hope for the best.
Carl, Jimmie Johnson had an interesting observation. He said he never really improved at this racetrack until he got lapped by Tony Stewart and then followed him.
Yeah.
How did you improve?
I haven't improved that much yet. I'm not hitting the curves, but we have yet to win a race. I had one really good race here about 1.5 years ago. I felt like we could win the thing, got all the way up to 3rd and then had a cut tire. But it's really about watching other people, just like you said. I mean, following Jeff Gordon, following Tony Stewart, even Denny Hamlin, guys like that really understand where the speed's at in these places. I had a chance to talk to Ricky Craven, and he helped me a lot, and Bobby Hamilton helped me a lot a few years ago, and I think that talking to those veterans really helps.
Carl, racers always want to feel like they're headed in the right direction, and you made no bones about it. Last year was disappointing, despite everybody's best efforts and intentions. Are you headed in the right direction?
I think our Aflac team really is. I go back to that restart with 10 laps to go at Bristol last week. It was Matt, Greg, and myself, top 3. And I thought, man, this is what it's supposed to be like. One of us has a shot to win this race. And, we have to be better as a team. We have been getting better. You look at where Matt and Greg are up there in the points. We're right on the outside edge of the chase. And, we'll know here 10 or 15 more races into this season whether or not we have a chance to win the championship. But I know we can. We just have to do it.
I will resist making any bad puns about Aflac and the duck and the weather. And
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Carl. Back to you, Chris.
All right, but even Steve knows Quack. Carl Edwards, if you don't know Quack, we have a question for you, and you can look it up yourself. They're drying the track now. Looks like the rain has lightened up, so we're going to get this race started, and hopefully we'll get it finished here in Martinsville. So let's check out the Aflac Do You Know Quack trivia question. And Aflac pays you cash benefits that you can use for every day. Living expenses, your mortgage, gas, even food. Martinsville Speedway, known for the famous Martinsville hot dog, which cost attendees how much? And those are the options of what, and you can get in on this. Text your answer to A, B, C, or D to 36888 and enter a chance to win a replica helmet autographed by Carl Edwards. Log on to foxsports.com/Aflac Racing for more details. $7, $4.50, $2.99, or free. So do you guys know Quack? No, don't give it away.
I know.
Don't give it away yet. We will address the answer, but we appreciate your
It's just
participation.
too hard.
Hey,
it's too hard.
Yeah, Daryl, I couldn't help but think. Carl Edwards, remember he had that injury. He's a tough guy with backflips and in great shape. But remember the Frisbee injury affected him a little. Denny Hamlin has the knee issue.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing I was thinking about Carl, particularly last year, not winning a race, struggling the way he did. And part of that was because I'm sure he got hurt. He hurt his foot. Drivers are notorious. I know, I've been one.
Yeah.
They won't tell you that they're hurt, and they won't tell you it's a distraction because they did it to themselves. Just like Denny Hamlin. He's going to have to fess up here and say, look, got to get my knee fixed because it hurts when I race.
We showed earlier, I mean, when you're paying guys $30 million, $20 million, I know in other sports, baseball players, they have items written in their contract, Jeff, where you can't go out and play hoops on the side or flip on cars or that type of thing, parachute, things that you do, chasing cattle.
Nobody cares about me getting hurt.
If you get hurt. But are there things like provisions like that in contracts for NASCAR drivers?
Absolutely. There are. But a lot of times, the owners like to keep the drivers happy. Let's face it. If they're out there doing something they enjoy, whether it's racing on Saturday in the truck race or whether it's a nationwide series or, whatever makes you kind of like get excited and relaxed, they're okay with it. But when you have a situation like Denny Hamlin's Obviously, everybody says, oh, no, you can't do anything. But you can't keep these guys
That's right.
under glass.
Daryl, especially guys of this sport, I mean, the risk-reward, that's what we like about NASCAR. You guys are thrill seekers at great speeds. You're going to do the crazy things within limits.
He never did.
You got to get away from it. You got to get away from the grind, man. I mean, you're talking a job. It's really 24/7, and so when you get a little spare time and you can go out and play some games with the boys, whatever that might be, the driver needs to be able to do that. You can't keep them in a box. Got to let them get out and play a little bit, but they got to be wise enough not to go out and do something dumb.
But you know something else? You bring up the dollars and cents situation. Remember something else too, Daryl. Back in your day, you needed to race Monday through Sunday to try to make a living. You didn't have a lot of time for distraction.
Now you have time
a lot of these guys have that benefit because they are making good money and not necessary to go out and do a lot of extra stuff.
The really good athletes don't think anything's ever going to happen. They think they're invincible.
Invincible, yeah. They still. Michael Jordan still thinks he can play, and now he's an owner in the NBA. All right, we have a lot more to come. The dryers are going. I can hear things drying out here in Martinsville, so we will be starting the race.
Can I use your hair dryer?
Yeah, this is when I dry my hair when it gets wet. I'll do the jokes. All right, you just analyze things. And the hot Chris Devoda had her first Martinsville hot dog. Yeah, what'd you put on there? Is there a hot dog with your bun? We're enjoying ourselves, and we hope you are too. It's NASCAR on Fox, live in Virginia. Oh, mine wasn't bad either. His, not so good.
Hey Fox, 10 amazing years, but Chris Myers still has not told a good joke.
Enough with that guy already, all right?
Now he's getting on your nerves.
Yeah, Jimmy starts winning races, and now he's going to pick on me? Here, and I defend all the 48 haters all the time. Say, Jimmy's such a nice guy. You know, he's another nice guy. Is Jeff Gord. He's done a lot for NASCAR. Of course, a 4-time champ. He's moving in on your 84 wins, right?
He is.
He's got 82 career wins, and, of course, he had the idea to put Jimmy in a car, which we'll ask him about. But great to have Jeff joining us. You're with the crazies from the Hollywood Hotel, Jeff. Hey, thanks
join us.
Thanks for being with us. Instead of asking the weather guy, let's get your view of how the track looks, what you see from the weather. You think we'll at least get this thing started?
Well, I hear track dryers. That's usually a positive sign. You know, looking at the radar, there's a little bit of a window right here. So, you know, NASCAR is going to do everything they possibly can to dry this track and get some laps run for the fans and for the competitors and everybody watching at home. So hopefully we get something going here. You know, I've seen crazier things happen. It certainly doesn't look promising, but we'll see what happens.
And Jeff, you've had great success on this track. Just maybe talk about your year, where you are now, and watching what Jimmy's done. People say, hey, part of Hendrick Motorsports. You know, you had that race in Vegas where you dominated and he got you at the end. But it seems like you're onto something. How about today? Once you get out there, what do you think your car looks like?
We had a really strong car yesterday in practice. You know, we're still in test mode. We've seen firsthand what the 48 has done over the last 4 years, and you know, we're just trying to do things a little bit different this year with the DuPont Chevrolet. And while we've been great here at Martinsville in the past, we've also been getting beat a lot lately. So we're trying to do something to make sure we don't get beat. You know, especially when we come back here if we were fortunate enough to be in the chase. So we're trying some new things. Some of the things were working good yesterday, some of them weren't. But I've got a lot of confidence in Steve and our engineers and everybody that have worked overnight to put the best setup in the car for today's race or tomorrow's race, whichever it is. And I can't wait to get the green flag going, you know, to drop the green flag and get going and see what we've got.
Hey, Jeff, it's DW. It sounds like the legacy may live on with the addition of a son to your family sometime this summer. Is he going to be a junior?
You know, we've been talking about a lot of different names. Jeff Jr. doesn't seem to be on the list. Not very high on the list, that's for sure. But you know, I think that it's just such a joy to be a parent. And I look back at my parents and how they approached, you know, opportunities for me and my sister. And I just want to go about it the same way. Racing is just one of those things that happened to come along that I liked, and they recognized it. And I was fortunate enough to have parents that pursued it. And I want to do the same thing for my kids. It doesn't have to be racing. It can be, you know, anything that they're passionate about.
Is Ella, is she as crazy about, you know, going on vacations on your off time, you know, going scuba diving and all that with the sharks? You take Ella along for that?
I can't wait for the day to be able to take her on some of those things, because she seems pretty adventurous. Right now we have to hold her back when it comes to going to the playground, and we go to the beach sometimes, and she wants to run right into the 5-foot wave. So at least right now she seems to be gung-ho for anything.
Jeff, there's nothing wrong with the name Jeff. Just want to let you know that, okay?
Plus the last name's Hamlin.
It's been good to me.
I think it's the junior part he's not happy with.
Well, I mean, we were thinking maybe Dale Earnhardt Jr. Gordon might possibly work.
I'm not too sure about that either. But the thing I'm curious about, we've been talking so much about how you take care of your car here at Martinsville. You've been running at the end of all of your 34 events since you started coming here. What was the secret of learning how to get around Martinsville, and you turned it right into a winning racetrack for yourself?
We came here and did a test. I don't know if it was my rookie year or maybe '94, and just ran a bunch of laps. You know, Ray Evernham was the crew chief, and you know, they were trying things on the car. I was trying things. I mean, I was lost. I was like a lot of guys that they come to Martinsville and you just have no idea what it takes to get around here. And we made enough laps where I started hitting on some things, and it just, the rhythm started coming. And all of a sudden, I said, oh, okay, hang on a second. I think that I've been doing this all wrong. And all of a sudden, all the things that we wanted to do, the car started working. And so ever since then, you know, we've been able to make the car do the things that I want to do. And when you've got a fast race car, it helps you be more patient. It helps you try to stay out of trouble. And you realize on a track like this, you got to be around at the end if you're ever going to have a shot at winning it. And we've been very fortunate to do that as well.
Hey, Jeff, why do guys get so pumped up, though? Drivers get so pumped up about winning on the short tracks? Seems to be almost as important as winning Daytona to some guys.
Yeah, I think it just depends on how your career goes. You know, I think if you're Denny Hamlin and you come out of the box running well at Martinsville and you win at Martinsville, while it might have been exciting at the beginning, now he wants to win at Daytona. You know, he wants to win at Indy. He wants to win somewhere that, you know, seems to be the biggest challenge. And some guys, that's the short tracks. And for Jimmie Johnson at Bristol, that was one of the most challenging racetracks that he had. And you know, they went out and conquered it. So it just depends on what's on your list.
Hey, Jeff, just a couple more questions here. I saw where your stepfather, John Bickford, talked about you maybe racing, or he said you're 5 to 6 years away from retiring. I don't know if having children changes or alters that. What's your thought on how much longer you want to do this, and would another championship affect that?
Well, if this little boy we're about to have this summer decides that he wants to be a race car driver, I might be like Mark Martin and racing in my 50s. You know, I really haven't put a date on it. We had some issues with my back, and I thought, you know, that was gonna affect how long I could race. But I feel like we've really gotten through that well, and we're always continuing to progress with that. I'm in the best physical shape that I've been in a long time, if not ever. So the races aren't wearing me down like they used to. You know, things have been really going well the last couple of years, so I don't have a date on it. We're right now we're, you know, renegotiating with sponsors to lengthen our contract to continue going forward with the 24 car, and I'm excited about that. I think we've got a lot of great races and years left in us, and I'm certainly not ready to end that anytime soon.
Well, that's good news, and I know you're a good businessman as well. In fact, you had a lot to do with helping Jimmie Johnson get in a car and race. What was it? Because he didn't get a lot of early hype. What did you see that said, hey, I want this guy here? And are you sorry he's taking some championships away from you, it looks like?
I saw he was doing a lot with lesser equipment. And, you know, I said early on that if we could put a guy like Jimmie, and he was a good guy, you know, he just, you know, he came up to me and asked me for some advice. I learned right away he was a good guy, and on the racetrack, you know, he was getting it done. I mean, he finished in the top 10 in points, so that year that I was watching him, and you know, that showed me that he could bring it home, but he also could get after it when he needed to. And I was just fortunate. I was in the Nationwide Series that year racing against him while we were making those decisions on a 4th team at Hendrick Motorsports. And you know, I just said that if we can put the kind of equipment and team behind a guy like Jimmie that I've been able to have over the years, I think he's going to be successful. I didn't know he was going to be this successful, but that's been the good surprise in my opinion. You know, those guys have done a fantastic job, and it's the whole team. It's how the whole thing's been put together with Chad Knaus and all the members of that 48 Lowe's Chevrolet, you got to be impressed and give them a lot of respect for what they've been able to accomplish.
All right, well, we thank you for your time. Hopefully we'll get to race it again. Congrats on the addition to the family. If it gets cold and rainy, you can come in the Hollywood Hotel and hang out if you want. All right?
You got it, guys. Thank you.
Thanks. Jeff Gordon is DuPont, Rick Hendrick Chevrolet.
I'm working on my list, too.
Yeah.
My bucket list.
Your things to do. Well, the irony, like he said, I don't know Jimmy would be this successful because Jeff Gordon won those 4 championships, but who came along in 2002? Jeff hasn't been able to win a championship, but this guy, Jimmie Johnson's won 4 in a row, working on a 5th.
But, you look at it a couple different ways, and Darrell, I think you can relate to this, is that sometimes a guy like Jimmie Johnson may help to motivate you. When you were thinking about retiring, you realize, all of a sudden, I don't like losing to this guy. I think we saw that with Dale Earnhardt Sr. when Dale Jr. finally stepped up into the Cup ranks. He started beating his daddy. His daddy got back up on the wheel. This may be the thing that kind of pushes you as far as keeping your career going.
Let me ask you, because I know Dale Earnhardt did a lot, but just put into perspective for people that realize what Jeff Gordon has done, how he dominated the sport and brought a lot of new people into NASCAR.
If there's a legacy to Jeff Gordon, not just his wins and championships, but he started the youth movement. When he came in, he was a young kid. Nobody knew anything about him. And everybody said, why would Rick Hendrick put this kid in a car? But once they saw how he could perform and what he could do at his age, they started looking for other young drivers. And so he's responsible for bringing a lot of young drivers in, but also young fans. Yeah. Because they could identify with him. The kids in school, the computer kids, all those guys like that, they recognize Jeff Gordon and they know who he is, and he brought them to the sport.
Well, one thing right quick, remember, when you were coming along, what was kind of like the age for a driver? Most owners were saying, you got to put 5-6 years under your belt to prove you won't tear up equipment before I'll put you in my race car. I know that was the way with Junior Johnson. He didn't want no part of you early on.
And Jeff took pointers from Dale Earnhardt, and Jimmie Johnson, obviously, as you heard Jeff say, takes pointers from Jeff Gordon. Let's just look at we talk about dominance and success. If you stack the numbers side by side of Jeff Gordon, Jimmie Johnson, the last 14 races here at Martinsville, and talk about guys that own a place.
Well, other than, having 2 more wins, I mean, look, they're almost identical as far as the laps led and the average finishes. So Jimmie Johnson he's a smart kid. He learns fast.
Yeah, I'd say he learns real fast. You remember that one race? He went down and put the bumper to the guy in the 24 car, went on up there, and then remember the big discussion about, hey, he's in my way, he's blocking me, he's doing this. Jimmy didn't pull over for Jeff.
No team orders.
No,
I mean, when it comes down to the end of the day, they race hard.
All right, and of course, the spoiler back today was 3 years ago when the wing was on the scene. A guy named Kyle Busch had a successful ride, and he's standing by, I believe, right, with our Matt Yoka. Matt?
Chris, an intense competition this past week. Bragging rights, ego, high stakes on the line, and yes, Kyle Busch was involved. A little bit of a controversial finish, though, and we'll get to that in a second. First, the competition not on the racetrack for $100 between you and Scott Speed doing what?
Pit stop competition. Who can change the tires the fastest?
And who won?
Well, I did, of course. I mean, I have worked on my own cars for my whole life. If you look at Scott Speed's hands, they still have maybe a little bit of nail polish on them. So, for me, I've got brake cleaner all over them, just being able to work on cars. But it's fun, just something to mess around with at the shop earlier this week. The guys got done with their pit stop competition deal, and we jumped in there and we did it. It's funny because he ran around the truck, and then every time he would hit a lug, he was on the gas and then off the gas, where the guys here, they just stay on the trigger. But when he ran around the front of the truck, he was on the trigger the whole time running around the front of the truck, and we were all just like, man, what are you doing? But no, it was cool. It was fun, just something different.
He claimed that he goes, Kyle said he'd never done it before. He goes, but I think he might have, and he wants a rematch. But that's not the only person you've taken some money from.
Yeah, I didn't take money just from Scott, but Scott, I haven't ever done a live one before like that. That was my first time ever doing it live, but I've always sat down and messed with it in the shop and always messed with, playing with those sockets and stuff. They're trick sockets that allow you to get speed out of it, but Scott and I will get back at it later. But Brian Eichler, he decided that he wanted to give a little competition to me, so I said, hey, $100 every round. Whoever wins pays gets $100. And so Eichler wanted to do it with me, and I beat him the first 3 times. And then on the 4th time, my rear carrier, who was Eric Phillips, my crew chief on the truck, hung it, and it popped the lug off. So in the time where I reached down and put the lug back on and spun it on, Eichler and I tied. He says he beat me, so I gave him the money.
You're talking about the owner hat and Brian Eichler. Yesterday in the Truck Series racer, and Scott Speed already coming down wanting a rematch, I'm sure.
And
what? We're in the hauler with my guys, and you're on the face talking about my nail polish. Just decided to come on over. I just wanted to ask, who did more push-ups last night? You or my wife, Amanda?
His wife, Amanda, did beat me in push-ups. She's only pushing 100 pounds, whereas though I'm pushing 190. But hey, it is your own strength, so that's all right. I lost to a girl.
Are you going to have a rematch with him?
Yeah, but I need to practice a little bit. You know, it's going to take definitely a couple weeks, but there will be a rematch.
A couple 100 practice sessions.
Whatever it takes, I'm doing. I'm doing whatever it takes.
Are the stakes going to be any higher next time? I mean, you already got it for 100.
No, I think we'll keep them the same. After a couple rounds, maybe double or nothing it or something. But he's always trying to get better at stuff and getting better all the time. So I'm sure he'll want to beat me. So I know he's going to work at it until he's capable enough of beating me, which the Red Bull guys on pit road are pretty good. They're not as good as the M&M Snickers bunch, but they are pretty good, so I'm sure he'll learn.
Your truck team was pretty good yesterday. You were pacing, though, I saw you at times.
I can't sit still, man. I had a hard time yesterday just sitting still, sitting on the box. I was up, down, back and forth, all around, trying to figure it out and see what was going on. But
Making bare bond?
Yep, I had to make some bare bond pieces for Brian. He knocked the left front fender off for no reason. And drivers, man, just you can't ever teach them here, especially at Martinsville. It's just so tough anyway.
Well, you know what? From the owner, driver, and that's what Joe Gibbs is probably going to be saying about you later on today.
Yeah. He said I'm a bad owner for pacing already.
Chris?
All right, he's got a he has not had a top 5 finish, but Kyle's 10th in points and some changes in his life.
Well, he's got a lot of changes going on in his life, and I talked to him about he got engaged. Right. He started a truck team. Right. He's got a new crew chief, and he said he was really being conscious about his image. Then he looked at me with that look that he'll give you sometime. He said, I've got to get back to being the bad boy because I'm not winning any races. And so I would watch him today.
You know, think of John McEnroe on the tennis court. He's a guy who, part of that yelling wasn't to throw off the opponent. It was for himself to kind of release the tension, the anger. He thought it made him a better player. Some guys
even other athletes. I told you that's the way it was.
Well, I think there was some reason why he was standing in the corner hollering a minute ago.
It was for me. It was to release all that.
To release all that energy. I asked about how much our Aflac, right? You don't know quack question. You guys, they both knew it. How much does the famous Martinsville hot dog cost among the choices? And thanks for logging on. You guys said
$2.
And the duck would love a bite out of the hot dog. So that is the answer. Martinsville Speedway, known for the famous hot dog, and only $2. That's not a bad deal.
So you usually spend about $50 in a weekend.
Yeah, I'm getting kind of hungry, so we might send a slice of Peasy to get a slice of a hot dog here. And it's a slight drizzle, so it's lightening. The rain is letting up a little bit. Looks like we're going to be able to get the race started in just a moment. NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is presented by Nationwide Insurance. Call or visit us online for a quote today. And sponsored by Ford. Drive one. Also by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. A slight delay to the start of things. We might have to get that ShamWow guy out to mop up the tray. He's that annoying guy, the cameraman right here. But actually with the jet dryers, right, it's looking pretty good.
Well, looking really good. We got a half-mile track, but we got the same amount of dryers that we would use at a mile-and-a-half track. So we should be able to get this thing done twice as fast, right? Am I doing my math right?
Yeah, I think you're a little bit wrong right there. If you got a half-mile racetrack and you said a mile-and-a-half racetrack. So
and the same amount of jet dryers.
Right. So
how many hours would it take to get the
We'll figure out. Why don't we just go to Rick Dickert, our storm expert?
Right.
Yes.
Let's go to the pro.
and Rick, what's the latest?
And the dryers and the math. I can be ShamWow for you a little bit of my hair there. Hey, guys, it's not looking very good, unfortunately. There's a wide area of persistent rain just west and southwest of the Speedway. You guys are just being teased right now. A little bit of drizzle, some light showers so far, but heavier rain, more persistent rain just to the west. All of this is heading our way. The more delays, the longer the delays, the less likely we'll be able to get that race in with 250 laps, unfortunately.
So if the rain does come in, it's going to stay a while, is what you're saying. Once it gets here, once the heavy showers get here?
You're just not seeing much in the way of breaks in it. Look at how wide this area is here, Chris. There's some breaks a little further to the west, but those are, an hour and a half, 2 hours or more away. So once it starts raining, it looks like it's going to continue raining for some time.
Hey, Rick, how come every weekend you give us the same report? What's up?
Well, no, last week we got the race in. Don't blame him. He's not in charge of the weather.
No, but he said it was, scattered showers all afternoon.
There's always a 50
go.
Well, now I guess the question is, if we're unable, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but does tomorrow look worse? Is there also rain in the forecast for this area on Monday?
There will still be a chance of showers, but we're looking better. In fact, the best chance of seeing rain tomorrow will be during the morning hours. As we progress through the afternoon, it should start to dry out. I would think you could get in some racing tomorrow. Tuesday, for sure, will be a dry day in the Martinsville area.
Okay, well, all right, well, that's why we brought you in. We wanted the real, whether it's good news or bad news. Thanks, Rick, for keeping an eye on things, all right?
All right.
All right, we appreciate it. Don't blame him. He's not in charge of the weather.
I wasn't blaming him. I just trying to find the forecast.
I'm blaming you because you called him back up. You weren't supposed to talk to him.
All right, let's check in with Steve Burns. He's standing by with one of our drivers here.
With Jamie McMurray, we do not have Vince the ShamWow guy, but we do have Frankie the Fish, and Frankie will sing. All right, that's good TV right there. Now, Jamie, you got the Daytona 500 victory, and you had a top 10 last week. Do you feel like the strength of that 500 victory is still helping this race team? We talk about momentum.
Yeah, we actually have had really fast cars at every race this year. Certainly I messed up at Vegas getting into one, and then at Atlanta the following week we stayed out on 2 tires at the end, and I got in a bad position there and got wrecked. But we've actually had really fast cars every weekend, and our McDonald's Chevrolet is good again this weekend. We're fastest in happy hour, and we were one of the few cars I felt like that made a 30-lap run, and we seem to be really consistent for a long run. So the track is, and the tire is different than what we've had here in the past. Forward bide and the amount of rear grip is a huge struggle this weekend. So there'll be some big pit strategy today.
You've got a couple wins at Daytona and, of course, the one at Charlotte. People don't really understand, though, you're pretty good on the short tracks. And, by the way, no pressure. But at foxsports.com, I'm playing the Auto Racing Challenge, and there's a salary cap. I get 5 drivers. The captain gets double points, but you, my friend, with 9 top 10 finishes, no pressure, but you're on my team this week. Just saying.
Well, this has been a good place for me, and I don't know why. It seems like every driver has a track that even if they're having a bad year, they can go to that track and they tend to run well. And for me, Martinsville, I think about every time I finished in the top 10 here. So we have had really good cars, and honestly, this is probably the best car that I've ever had here. So I look forward to getting this race in today and getting to run all of it. It's so stressful on crew chiefs and drivers and everything to know what point you're racing to and when you gamble and how the pit strategy is going to work. So hopefully we'll be able to get it all in.
Jamie, I remember talking to you at Fontana a week after the Daytona 500, and it had been such a whirlwind for you that week with all the media. Now that you've had a little distance and a few weeks from winning the Daytona 500, how has it changed your life?
Well, I still have people come up to congratulate me, and I think more than anything, I have really enjoyed the stories of people that I don't know telling me that, not that they were cheering, but that they literally jumped off their couch because they were so excited. And I think everyone has had a sporting moment in their life. For me, maybe it's golf or something where you were pulling for somebody that maybe wasn't expected to win, and they did. And for me, it was, I didn't know what I was going to be doing this year. And then you come back and you win the Daytona 500. It was just obviously I won, so it was a good story for me, but I think just for NASCAR fans in general, that's why we turn our TVs on and watch, just to see moments like that.
And hopefully we'll see you race today. Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Chris.
All right, thanks, Steve and Jamie. So, it's funny, 9 Martinsville top 10 finishes, most of any track for Jamie McMurray, a place he's run well.
Yeah, he was really good here yesterday in practice, one of the fastest cars. And, Jamie is a good race car driver. He's solid, and he puts himself in position, just like he did at Daytona, to win a race every now and then. He'll be in the top 12, I believe, at the end of when the chase starts.
Well, he's just on the outside looking in right now. He's 15th in points, and this is a good, like you say, good racetrack for him. He's really a good road racer also. A lot of times he's been overlooked there. He's led the race right there to the last part of the race at Sonoma and in places like Watkins Glen. So good racetracks coming up for him. But today, I think it's kind of critical that he comes out here with a top 10 finish.
Yeah, drivers anxious to give this a run today. That was a high point, obviously, Daytona 500, 5 races in. But 3 weeks ago in Atlanta, we all remember what happened with Brad Keselowski and Carl Edwards.
Don't look, Ethel.
And the radio transmission, worth taking a look at.
Clear low, continue here by 2. All clear by 2. 12 just wrecked us. Yellow's out. Well, I had room. I went down, and then he hit us from behind. I'm not even sure I touched him. But it gave him more room. I couldn't tell what he was trying to go. Did he hit me in the left rear or the straight in the rear? Straight away. So he just decided just to hit us. Back it up. Go to the garage. Still there. Do what you have to do here, man. You know what he's going to do. Nice and smooth. In line with you. Clear from behind. There's a spot in your mirror. Just watch him here. He's going to do something stupid. You're faster than he is. He's tore up. Make sure he doesn't. Just use your head. Looking back inside. Inside. Still outside. He's going to come back to you. Ooh, buddy. Yellow is out. Yellow is out.
You okay, buddy? Talk to me now.
I don't know if I'm okay. Let me know if he gets out. He's out, bud. He's out walking?
Yeah, he's a little jelly-legged, but he's walking.
All right, good. All right, we got to go to the truck. They're black flagging in. You got to go to the truck.
And NASCAR's ruling, remember, no severe punishment, fine, just probation for Carl Edwards. So let's check in with Chris Devoto, who's with the other half of that mix-up, and Brad Keselowski. Hey, Krista.
Hey, Chris, that's right. We're just trying to stay warm down here, talking a little bit about that incident, and it probably seems like a long time ago. Doesn't that seem like it's been more than just a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, you know, I'm afraid to say that it seems like a long time ago, as people think that, you know, maybe I got a concussion or something, but yeah, you know, it does. You know, we had a great week last week with both the Nationwide Series and the Cup program. Awesome run in the Discount Tire Dodge, and almost won the race over there. That program is really taken off with Paul Wolf, and the Cup side here, we've been making really great progress over the last few weeks. You know, Atlanta, we're going to have a good finish, and you know, last week at Bristol ran up front. We've really just been having a lot of fun, and kind of interested to see how the next few weeks are going to go and how we're going to progress as a team.
Well, it's funny because I talked to you before driver intros at Bristol, and I was coming off that Nationwide runner-up finish, and we were almost joking where I was like, man, you had a chance to go for that win, but it was your teammate, Justin Allgaier, in front of you, and it had to go through your mind. I mean, Roger Penske was there. You're like, man, I can't do it. Is that how it was, or what was playing through your mind at that moment?
Well, I mean, Justin's a great guy, and you know, it really wouldn't seem right to bump a guy out of the way who's going to win his first race, whether he was my teammate or not. But certainly him being a teammate made a big difference, and he's a great guy. He comes from a great family, and we're really similar backgrounds. So I take a lot of pride in seeing him win, and not that I let him win, but I wasn't going to, you know, rough him up to take it away from him. But who knows, later down the road that might change, you know, because we're running for a championship against each other. So it'll be interesting to see how that progresses. Just having so much fun over there in the Nationwide program, and really looking forward to this Cup side and getting better every week.
Well, before we let you go, the interesting thing is we had a piece in the pre-race from your owner, Roger Penske, and he was talking about how much he likes his drivers to be aggressive, fire in their belly. Does that plays right into your hands, right?
Well, I've had a great relationship with Mr. Penske. I know he's out in St. Pete doing an IRL deal, and a little warmer over there, I can understand, but you know, he's been a great guy to work with. I really have a lot of respect for him. We're both from Michigan, and we both appreciate the same things about the sport. You know, the hard racing and the hard charging styles, and you know, it's kind of cool going through his shop. He's got a lot of pictures, beautiful shop in Mooresville, and some of the best pictures he's got are of some of the drivers he has, but then there's also some drivers that didn't drive for him along the line. A lot of those are the Dale Earnhardts and some of those hard charging drivers that he just has an appreciation for. So you know, you can kind of see that theme through everything he does, and it makes him one of the best owners to drive for in the sport.
All right, well, maybe we'll see some pictures of you in Victory Lane in his cars coming up in his office very soon. Thank you very much. It's Brad Keselowski. Let's go back to the Hollywood Hotel. Chris?
All right, thanks, Chris. You know, Roger Penske was telling me when they had the meeting with Carl Edwards and Keselowski and NASCAR afterwards, he was impressed that Carl right away asked how was Brad okay. You know, when the car flipped up into the air, there was that kind of compassion, concern, but you want aggressive driving, as we know. You were that kind of driver. Where's the line on, and you heard him talk about a teammate out there. Sometimes, even if it's a teammate, I'm going to be rough on him.
Sometimes, you know, you got to put all those hard feelings and grudges aside and just focus on getting the job done and not worry about paying people back. But big difference in Keselowski there and what we heard out of Kurt Busch last year right here. Mr. Penske came out of this young man's mouth. And last year, I remember Kurt calling Roger, 10-4, dude.
Yeah. Captain.
So, obviously, he's well brought up. He's got good manners. He's a good kid. He don't want to be bad, Brad. He wants to be not so bad, Brad.
Does he have what it takes? 22 Cup races. Does he have championship material in him?
I think he does. I think he's got a lot of talent. I think that he's shown that as far as a Nationwide Series, the way he races over there, he's definitely a contender for a championship over there. And then when you come up here, all he needs is experience. And Chris, let's go back and think about the wreck itself. I mean, they're out there racing along, and he passes the 99. I think he made a rookie mistake.
I do too.
He should have stayed behind that 99 because the 99 was head hunting at that point in time, and it was his head he was hunting.
I'm glad that they put that behind. You know, we're talking about Roger Penske. His one Daytona 500 win came when Ryan Newman was part of Penske Racing, and now Ryan has had success his second year with Stewart Haas, Tony Stewart's team. And let's check in with Ryan Newman.
Chris Newman looking to put the 39 into victory lane for the U.S. Army. P1 in qualifying trim on Friday. How was your car in race trim?
In the Haas Automation Chevrolet, felt really good. I take that back. It didn't feel as fast as it was, which is a good thing here because it's such a racetrack. It's so easily overdriven. But we felt pretty good yesterday in race trim, and know we have a fast car based on what we did on Friday. But it's really about having a good long run car here because that first lap or that quick lap doesn't mean so much as those next 100 after it.
Now, I'm a big animal lover like you and Chrissy, and I always check out the RyanNewmanFoundation.org to see what the latest news you guys are working on. And the latest is Pit Road Pets, the second lap, NASCAR Stars and Their Pets. You can go there and also pitroadpets.com to get the new book. Pretty exciting, and go ahead and flip through. And by the way, you've got to see Daryl and his family. I'll tell you what, I'll swap you. You take the book, I'll take the Coke, and you can flip us through. But it's a great book, so much great photography.
Yeah, it's our second edition of the book. It's about NASCAR stars, drivers, TV personalities, car owners, people that really love animals in the NASCAR community. And it has two purposes. Number one, to raise awareness about the overpopulation of animals and what we can do to help out as humans to control that overpopulation. Each year there are over 5 million animals that get euthanized. So it's a tool to raise awareness about that. It's also a tool to raise funding to help with the Humane Alliance and show.
By the way, there's Dick Berggren in Indy.
Dick Berggren in Indy. Who else do we have in here?
We've got the 3-time champ, Darrell Waltrip, and his family with their dogs.
DW. A little photoshopping on DW there, but the dogs were they're all natural. Who else we got here, Yoakum?
I got to show my my little gang.
Yoakum and his trio.
Yeah, my trio. And I'll tell you what, you go through here, and it's just so exciting. I mean, you got Robin Pemberton from NASCAR, Tony Gibson, your crew chief. You flip on through, Darian Grubb, a host of drivers, Rick Hendrick. And
Rick Hendrick had the only parrot in the book. Flip one more page. That's his parrot there.
Dale Jarrett.
This year we did a little different. Chrissy did a little different, actually. They included the fans, which was really neat. I think Bristol, Michigan, and one other racetrack, they went around and got pictures of the fans that bring their animals to the racetrack, which was really neat. We know ourselves that we couldn't do any of this without the fans. So to include the fans in our book was something that she did, and I think was very good as well.
So the fans, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Tony Stewart, Casey Kane, just a host of people.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's just a tool to raise awareness. $24.95 at RyanNewmanFoundation.org or pitroadpets.com, and it's available here at the racetracks at the souvenir trailers. So it's just stories about people and their pets. I mean, it's pretty neat. I like it. She did a great job. That's our 6-pack on the cover there. So you got Fred and Harley and Mopar Digger, Sox and Duncan, and they all have their own individual stories, and you'd read about them.
All right, another person on our broadcast team who is a big pet lover himself. Let's go upstairs to Mike Joy.
Well, my wife Gay has a great dog, and there's Larry with Fontana, his little pride and joy, and maybe Gay's Gracie will get in if there's a volume 3. I sent our runner Chris Ober over to my motor coach. Here's what else we've been reading lately. This is Humpy Wheeler's autobiography, Growing Up NASCAR. Humpy's the greatest promoter in the history of NASCAR, in that promoting means getting people outside the sport to pay attention, with ticket sales being the outcome. Within these covers is the story of where and how Humpy got a big shark, hung it from the back of a wrecker, and paraded it around the garage area after Cale Yarborough nicknamed DW Jaws. It's a tell-all, and it's all in here. But the one I can't put down is Mark Bechtel from Sports Illustrated penned this: "I crashed him, so he crashed me back." Now, if that doesn't sound like Donnie Allison, I don't know what. But it's the story of 1979, beginning with how the Daytona 500 got on live television, thanks to Ken Squire, Barry Frank, and Neil Pilson at CBS. And what happened the rest of that season as Richard Petty, Darrell Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt, the Allisons, and Cale all battled for the championship. Yeah, the story gets a little off track sometimes, but that's what makes it, in my book, a can't put down. This is a great story for anybody who wants to learn about the history of NASCAR and how rough and tumble it really was back in the good old days. Chris?
Thanks, Mike. We're going to continue. Instead of Oprah's book club, we have Darrell Waltrip's recommendations. That's what is that, Darrell? What are you reading?
It's Chris Myers' book. You can buy it on DWStore.com, by the way, and it's a real easy read.
Yeah, it's a good bathroom book. Anyway.
All right, Jeff. All right, Jeff's book. We got crayons for you. DWStore.com.
I just started reading. Look at that. I'm on my half through.
I haven't finished it yet. NASCAR is America.
Talk about me.
Thanks for helping me out, you two. Let's go to Tony Stewart. Steve Burns, he'll help us out.
Thanks a lot, Chris. No book recommendations here. We're going to talk about short track racing at Martinsville. Let's talk about the 2010 season. You're actually ahead of where you were last year. Are you pleased with the direction you guys are going?
Yeah, I am. I'm really proud of Darian Grubb and Tony Gibson and Ryan and Bobby Hutchins, our competition director, and everybody at Stewart-Haas. I think we kind of set the bar really high for ourselves after last year, and feel like that we got a pretty good start. I mean, there's still things that every team's working through and trying to make better, but that's what makes this sport so cool, is that you can't rest on what you did last year. You got to keep pushing forward for next year, but I think we're on track.
How about racing here at Martinsville? It seems like DW mentioned the drivers love short track racing.
Yeah, we do, and this is a cool place because there's no place that we go all year that's like it. It's only one of 2 half miles that we have, the only one that's a paper clip like this, and it is fun. I mean, it goes back to how a lot of these guys got here and running tracks like this and running places where you didn't have a bunch of banking and wasn't a big mile and a half. I mean, this is tracks that you ran a late model on or a modified or something else. So this is one of the few chances that we get a year to kind of remember how we got here.
By the way, Jimmie Johnson paid you a huge compliment this week. He said that I never knew how to run Martinsville until Tony Stewart lapped me. And then I followed him. It's your fault.
Yeah. Well, the whole nation will be blaming me now, thank God. So
I'm here for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We've had over our 11 years in the series here, we've had some pretty good runs here and led a lot of laps, but it's a fun place when you have a car that drives right. It's like Dover and Bristol. When you have a car that's good there, it's a lot of fun. But if you're off, it makes for a very long day. But that's what makes this place so cool. I mean, it's hard to win here. It's hard to get that clock, and everybody wants that grandfather clock at the end of the day. It's one of the coolest trophies that we have in racing. So it's it makes you respect when you win a race here.
Tony, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Let's go back to the hotel and the book club.
All right, thanks, Steve. 5th in points, and yeah, Tony's gained 18 positions in the last 4 races. So
there's a lot that goes on in that head. He is a smart businessman. Not his deal with Haas and his Eldora Speedway.
Right.
He is a smart guy, good businessman.
Are you hungry?
And a heck of a drive, Junior.
Yeah, but the thing is, going back talking about Tony, remember now, last year he started fast and then kind of finished slow. I think this year he's starting slow, which is typical Tony.
That's his
and
style.
I think he'll ramp it up. By the time we get to the chase, he'll be right in the thick of it.
We're working through Darrell's lunch hour.
Yeah.
So if this is a union shop, time and a half for you. Hey, our Built Ford Tough Track Facts here along with the hot dog fact here at Martinsville. Martinsville, the shortest track on the NASCAR circuit. This is the 123rd Sprint Cup points race held here, the most among all tracks, excluding qualifying races. And Ford has won here 26 times, although in the last, 14 or 16 at Roush Fenway, Ford has not had great success.
You know why?
Why?
Because a guy named Jimmie Johnson and Jeff Gordon hadn't let him.
Those are our Built Ford Tough Track Facts. Will it be a Ford today? Looks like we might be able to get this thing underway. We'll be running at some point. We've been talking about dogs, pictures of dogs, hot dogs, books about dogs. It's Fox NASCAR. Fox NASCAR Sunday. We're going to take a look at some of the great finishes over the 10 years of Fox's NASCAR coverage and take a bite out of that dog. We'll be back in a moment. Hey, dog, what's up?
Hey, Fox, 10 years of covering NASCAR.
And Hammond and Darrell are still here?
Chris Myers, come up with something new, will ya?
A little curious about why you selected the group up in the booth.
How old does that make DW?
I don't know how this group stayed together.
What I'm going to do?
We've been together.
They're picking on me.
Whether people like it or not. 10 years, this group the team has stayed intact. We've enjoyed it. We've appreciated certainly all the help from NASCAR, the drivers, the crews,
and we never had a fight.
Look, I don't care about them. I thank the fans.
Yes.
They keep tuning us in every week. We really do appreciate it.
And speaking of 10 years, let's go back here. We voted on our top 10 finishes during our 10 years of NASCAR on Fox. We'll talk about them. Tell me what you think. Here's a look.
Here you go.
Our number 10 finish in 2007 at Texas Motor Speedway. Jeff Burton led just one lap. Lucky for him, it was the final lap of the race, much to the chagrin of Matt Kenseth.
And at the white flag, it's Kenseth. One lap to go.
This is it, boys. Can he do it? Burton on the inside. Kenseth on the outside. Burton. That's as far as he's been. He got him. He got him. He got him.
Clear.
He got him off the two.
From him, buddy. Bring it home.
Bring her home. He got him now. Kenseth got into this up a little too high off of two.
Be smooth, man. Be smooth. He's going to get a run off. It's all yours. Bring it home.
Jeff Burton comes off the corner. Jeff Burton, the first repeat winner at Texas Motor Speedway.
Next at Michigan in 2001, Ricky Rudd was on Jeff Gordon's tail for most of the race. Rudd made his move at the white flag.
1 lap to go. And they're side by side at the start-finish line. Rudd with a car length advantage.
Get up in front of him. You got to get in front of him. You can't let him come back on the outside. Oh, there.
Rudd just stuck it in too deep at the bottom of turn 1. Lost the momentum. Gordon got the lead. Rudd's coming back.
But that should have been Rudd's last lap move.
All right, we're going to see what happens. One more set of corners down in turn 3 and 4.
Man, he was there. That would have been for the win if it was on this lap.
If he can get close enough, he might have a shot to try it again. Rudd tries that high side.
I think Gordon knows what he's going to do this time.
He's going to try to make the run down the hill, Darrell, off turn 4. Let's see what happens. He gets the run.
Here he comes. He's going down to the bottom.
Gordon to block. And Gordon to win. He holds off Ricky Rudd. Wow.
That's 100. Jeff, baby, get that flag.
That is 100 Winston Cup wins for car owner Rick Hendrick.
And in a very short period of time.
The 2008 Daytona 500 marked the 50th anniversary of NASCAR's crown jewel, and it did not disappoint. Tony Stewart, trying for the 10th time to win the great American race, was leading on the final lap.
For the win.
Strap down the big TV. She's going to go for a ride.
Here we come. White flag. Bail lap. 1 to go.
Woohoo! Stewart's got a great car. No question about that. It's just a matter of if Kurt can get a little help.
And Ryan jumped to the high side. Tony Stewart blocks him. Here comes Kyle Busch on the bottom.
Uh-oh. Toyota drag race. Down the back. Toyota drag race.
Teammates. Newman was trying to get help from the other blue Dodge. Now he's got it. Toyota on the inside lane. Dodge on the outside lane. Who's going to win it?
It's going to come all the way to the wire. Here they go into turn 3.
Teammates working together. 2018, 212. 12 is going to win this race. I don't believe they can catch him back to the line.
He's going to have to make it wide.
Pedal, baby. Pedal.
He'll have to make it wide.
It's the Boilermaker, Ryan Newman. Ryan Newman, Roger Penske.
Wow.
Win the Daytona 500.
Way to go, guys. Way to go.
Hello, Newman.
In 2005 at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Jimmie Johnson and Greg Biffle dominated the majority of the race. But in the end, it was the 99 car of Carl Edwards finding its way to a Sprint Cup victory lane for the first time.
He's going to get a run at him.
He'll get one shot at turn 3 and 4.
I'm telling you, they're going to be side by side when they come to the line. It's going to be another one of those fantastic Atlanta finishes.
Johnson tries to block him. It's who can stay in the throttle here off turn 4.
And here they come, and I think Carl's got the advantage.
He does. He wins it.
Carl Ruddy has done it. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
And these fans love it.
Look at Carl. Watch this. Here he goes. Come on. Come on. Yes! And that's after 500 miles of racing.
The 2005 Coca-Cola 600 had a NASCAR record 22 caution flags. After 5 hours of wild racing, the fans were treated to a thrilling finish as Jimmie Johnson was trying for a Charlotte three-peat.
And I don't believe he can do it unless Bobby messes up.
There he goes to the bottom, Darrell. They're going to be side by side off turn 2. Bobby's on the high side,
though. You can't pass over there. There's no way.
What's that?
One last charge right here, man.
It's all over, boys.
Was that the last best move made
outside.
too soon?
Here he comes. Outside. Outside.
Just like in Atlanta last March. He's not going to be able to do it, I don't think. They're side by side.
Here he comes.
Jimmie Johnson. Got it. The 48 car.
He did it. 3 in a row. Jimmie Johnson.
By 2/100ths of a second.
I thought when he got beat off of turn 2, it was all over, but he drove it in on the outside and won it.
Boy, was that worth staying up late for or what?
Incredible.
In 2004, the final NASCAR race at Rockingham ended with one of the closest finishes in NASCAR history. Matt Kenseth was trying to hold off Casey Kane.
Kenseth went low in one. Changes lanes. Here comes Kane on the outside.
Just can't quite man it right there off of turn 2.
McMurray almost hit the wall exiting 2 and drops back.
Yeah, he lost a lot of ground right there. Last time through 3 and 4, though.
Here they
Kane goes to the bottom.
Kane comes to the bottom.
He gets a run. He's got a good run on him.
Side by side to the line. Kenseth.
Told you it'd be a Moco finish.
Here it is again. Coming out of 2, McMurray got a little loose. It made it a 2-car race. Here they come to the line.
Kane got such a run off turn 4.
Woo, baby.
Wow.
All right.
The race for the checkered flag at Talladega last year was one of the best in the history of NASCAR on Fox. With 2 laps to go, it appeared to be either Ryan Newman or Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s race until Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski made their move.
Carl Edwards, white flag this time.
Yeah, Carl Edwards from the back all day to the lead with 1 to go.
3 Chevys and 1 Ford. And it doesn't matter now. Your friends are where you find them. And from hanging out back, Carl Edwards.
I'll tell you, I don't know if they can catch them. What we've seen today, 2 cars get that big a run on them. I don't know that the 39 and the 88 can catch them.
They're in the draft of Edwards and Keselowski.
He's all over you here, just you and him.
Carl Edwards restarted 8th.
If that 09 can stay hooked to the back of that 99, it's going to be hard to get them. It's going to be close right here at the line.
Can Keselowski try to win it?
I don't know. I don't think he can step out until he waits till the last second and picks up.
He goes to the outside. Is Edwards going?
Oh, no.
He turns him.
No, no.
Oh, and that destroyed the front end of Newman's car.
No.
Edwards will not make it to the flag.
Oh,
Brad Keselowski won this race. Let's take a look, Mike. Carl Edwards, he opened it up just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think this is a hard lick right into the fence. I mean, that car, that looked like Bobby Allison did here in 1987.
The catch fence did its job, and the car did its job.
Thank goodness we have the new, stronger, much stronger, safer catch fences. Not sure where Carl's going. Maybe he thinks if he runs across the start-finish line, it'll count.
That's what he's. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing.
He's like a you know how he is. He's an athlete, a marathon runner. I want to finish the race.
And he did.
Yes,
to
he
a
did.
standing ovation from the crowd. Shades of Ricky Bobby.
As for our number 3 finish at Atlanta Motor Speedway in 2001, only 3 weeks after the death of the legendary Dale Earnhardt, Kevin Harvick, the man tapped to be Earnhardt's replacement, battled one of the greats for a memorable and emotional first win.
Jeff Gordon's going to give it all he's got. His turn. This time he's going to try to go down bottom. He's going to try to get down under him.
Gets a good run there in the middle of 3 and 4. They'll be coming for the white flag right here. 1 lap to go.
The Childress team trying to go to victory lane for the 2nd year in a row in this race.
We had a photo finish here last race. We're getting ready for another one, folks. Get up off your seats. Here they go.
For 2 in a row, trying to set him up.
Gordon's going to make the big move on the inside when they get down here to turn 3. Slow car might be in the way. Here he comes. He's going to drive it to the bottom.
Oh, Harvick's leaving a lot of bottom open.
This slow car is going to be in the way.
Just like a year ago, he's going to get him, though. Here they come. Get him. Gordon got loose. It's Harvick.
Harvick by inches. Harvick by inches. Harvick by inches. What a race. What a finish.
How did Jeff Gordon hang on to that car that loose on turn 4?
Man.
We got him. Tell me we got him.
29 car. You got him, buddy. Harvick, you got him.
A 6/1000th of a second.
Nice job.
Look at this. For the win.
That is ever so
6/1000th of a second. A replay of a year ago with Dale Earnhardt and Bobby Labonte.
That's an incredible finish. What a job for that young man.
Folks, this is Dale Earnhardt's car and team. Kevin Harvick, the young man Richard engine was tapped, is doing a John Force down the front straightaway.
Hey, listen to the crowd. I mean, that's incredible.
Look at Kevin Harvick as the fans saluted Dale with the number 3 on the 3rd lap. Kevin Harvick salutes him on the way to victory lane.
If I was him, I'd run that thing out of gas riding around here.
What could be more fitting? What could be more special?
Number 2, the 2007 Daytona 500 was a race dominated by Kurt Busch and Tony Stewart. But when they crashed into each other with under 50 laps to go, it became a survival of the fastest. Crowd favorite Mark Martin looked like he was in position to win his first Daytona 500.
Here comes Harvick, the 29 with Matt Kenseth.
Oh, Mark got loose. Mark got loose.
And Harvick's getting a run off turn 4. It's going to be a drag race all the way back to the start-finish line. No caution. They're side by side, right to the line.
Big crash. Here they come. Checkered flag. Harvick. Kevin Harvick wins the Daytona 500.
We got one car on his roof coming across the start-finish line.
They're still wrecking. They're wrecking everywhere. Boyer's on fire. Jeff Gordon's wrecked.
And they are still wrecking.
What happens back here is Kyle Busch gets on the apron ever so slightly, gets into the 17, and it's on from there. Look at the 38 car up on top of somebody. There's a car turning over.
Look at this finish.
And it's a drag race to the line, and we've seen Harvick do that before.
Yes, we have. You could see Harvick trying to pinch him down to keep that momentum on him.
A little side draft. Get a little side draft and try to pull ahead.
Watch the 07. It'll come in here from the right in the bottom lane. Clint Boyer. It slid sideways. Whammo.
And he'll cross the start-finish line unofficially upside down in the 18th position.
On fire. Joey Chitwood couldn't do that.
Darlington 2003 has been selected as our greatest finish on Fox. The race will be remembered for Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch banging their way to the checkered flag.
Come on, baby, come on.
Side by side, 2 laps to go. Somebody's got to give, getting into turn 1.
Nobody. And in the wall goes Busch.
That was not a very good idea.
Look, the crossover move, he got into it.
Come on, clear. Good job, man. Hang in there.
And here comes Blaney. Blaney is now the best car on the track.
Oh, baby, I'm telling you, Kurt Busch is not going to give up the win.
No, he's not. They'll be coming to the white flag this time. Ricky Craven's not going to give up either.
Come on, Ricky.
He gets that run on the high side right there. Kurt Busch is like he's struggling with his race car.
Here he comes. Here we go again. He's going to wait on this. He's going to put the crossover on him. He realized that wasn't a good move that last time.
White flag.
Here he goes. He's going to try to slide under him here. Come on, baby.
And Blaney's coming.
Both these cars are driving terrible right now. Half a lap to go.
Nah, they're driving good. Come on, baby. You can do it on this end of the speedway. Come off the 4 and get up alongside of him.
Half a mile to go.
Here he comes. Here he comes.
Who's going to get off?
Here he comes. Here he comes. He's got him this time.
It's going to be a drag race. Wow. They touch. They touch.
Craven got him. Craven got him.
Craven got him.
And
Craven. All right. What a finish.
have you ever?
No, I've never.
Wow.
What a finish.
That is one happy group right there.
That's one great race. I'm going to tell you, it's the goodest race I've ever seen at Darlington.
I got to see this again.
I do too. Let's watch.
Coming off turn 4 onto the front stretch. That's about as close as it'll get right there.
And this right here, I don't know what kept them both wadding them up down here in turn 1, but bam, oh boy, Craven really shot out into it.
It is amazing they didn't wreck after they crossed the start-finish line.
Darrell, if instead of Busch coming down into Craven, if he stays straight, does he beat Craven?
I don't think he had any choice, Mike, because Craven came off the bottom and really slammed into him. I think they got hooked together and couldn't get apart.
Look at Craven in there. Look at him fighting that steering wheel.
And it's a good thing that Pontiac's got the kick out on the nose.
Yeah, that was the difference.
But he wouldn't have won.
Look at how close this finish is.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, baby. I want to tell you, .002, and that was that finish closest ever since electronic scoring, that finish. And a nice job, too, Mike, Larry, Darrell calling some of those great finishes. We had a lot of fun. Just a quick update here. The track dried out. We hope to get the race started within the next 30 minutes or so. If the rain lightens up.
Look at that thing.
Smoking, yep.
Quick thought on looking at some of the races we just witnessed. And
made me tired.
So
I mean, because again, the emotion.
That was just a sample.
That's reality TV, folks. I mean, you can't make that stuff up. I mean, that's what happens here in the sport of NASCAR, and that's what we had captured as far as Fox is concerned.
What is so much fun is when you're doing it, the emotion of just of us doing it. You know, we're watching it. We're race fans. Me, Larry, Mike, we're all race fans. So when you're calling what you're seeing and you get into it and you start hollering and you poking each other, Larry and I do, and but then to go back and watch it later on like we just did. I mean, it's even what's going to happen, but it's still like, oh man, I forgot about it's just so exciting.
It's like this, Chris. You can never get enough of a good ending.
No. Kevin Harvick was in 2 of our top 3 finishes, and he is standing by live. And Kevin, thanks for being thanks for being with us. I don't know how many races when you think he's happy, Harvick. When you think back, is it the first win you got? Are there certain ones that come to mind when you're in your quiet time and you think about what you've done so far in your career?
Well, I think, the first win was, obviously the situation with everything that had just happened, not really expecting to be in those positions. Really, the first year was kind of a blur, to be honest with you. Obviously, the first day, first win is something that you usually always remember, but I honestly don't remember a lot about that first day because emotionally and there was just so much going on, but still a great moment. Obviously, the Daytona 500 was really cool, and just great to be a part of those finishes.
Hey, Harv, this is a DW. I am so proud of you and Delana, the job that y'all are doing with your own company. I've asked you this before, and I got to ask you again. You ever see yourself having your own race team and running a cup car out of your own operation? You ever see that happening?
Right now I think that the facility and everything is there to do the cup car, but I really, we've sat down and talked about it. Unless you have the 100% perfect situation, a lot like Michael did with Toyota coming in or something like that, I really don't have any interest in driving it myself, just because I know how hard some of the decisions are that we have to make with just the nationwide cars and the trucks. So for me, that would be something that would be down the road, and don't really have any interest in driving it myself right now.
Well, Kevin, the thing I want to know is, it seems like with you just don't wind up winning a race. You wind up winning the big races. I mean, All-Star, Daytona, in India. All these places are like crown jewels. You didn't start just winning, little races everywhere else. You went to the big stuff right on the get-go.
Yeah, we've been pretty fortunate, to win the big races and be able to experience a lot of those things that, a lot of guys go through their whole career and don't get to experience, although it was pretty neat to win Daytona. That was something that you always hear people talk about that you just can't relate to until you actually win it. And I think everything is just so much, the magnitude of everything is just so much bigger for that race. That was pretty neat to experience. But the Brickyard was really cool just for the fact that I grew up racing, wanting to race Indy cars in Bakersfield, and always was a Rick Mears fan. So that was pretty neat for a lot of personal reasons.
I know you won the truck race yesterday, Kevin. Does that help you once we get this race going? What do you take from that that you'll apply to this track when you're out there in the Cup car?
Well, I know Darrell's happy because he liked the colors on the truck. So
there you go.
Yeah, that's for me, we took a lot of tendencies that we felt in practice with the truck and related them to the conditions of the race. Fought a lot of the same things to a different extreme with the Cup car. So I think we know more about what direction the tires are going to go and how drastic it's going to be, and came in and made some changes on our car this morning based upon some things that Gil and I had talked about, and wanted to make sure that things stayed the same through the truck race yesterday. So I don't think it can hurt. I always like to make laps and learn those little tendencies of things that you can do to make your car turn, not turn. No matter what you're in, you're making those laps.
Kevin, I know your crew chief very well, Gil Martin, and it looks like that you two guys, after some changing around last year, that looks like it's really clicking well. The chemistry seems good. Is that the way it is?
Well, yeah, it's a good balance because Gil is so good with the people and so good at motivating things, which is probably not one of my strongest points. So you can focus on, I can focus on the things that I need to focus on. You don't have to worry about anything over here. All these guys have been together for a long time and really understand how each other works. So that helps me just kind of really do the things that I need to do, and he's not afraid to tell me if I'm doing something wrong and if we need to do something different. So it's going well so far, and we just got to keep progressing and keep making things stronger.
Well, you mentioned making things stronger. You're leading the points right now. I mean, is this somewhat of a surprise as far as finding yourself here at the head of the pack here 5 races into the season?
Well, I think, your goal is every year to go out and do the best that you can and try to put yourself in a position to race for the championship. And obviously, the 48 is kind of set the mark as far as where you need to be on a weekly basis and racing for championships. So for us, I think the turnaround started last year. I really think we were able to do the same things that we're doing at the beginning of this year, last year, as we got into the end of the season and we're able to compete for wins and do the things that we needed to do to run up front. So I think a lot of this started last year and able to carry over.
And I know you weren't afraid to comment, say, hey, we know we can run with those guys, referring to Jimmie Johnson and the 48 team, Kevin, and you're ahead of them and certainly in the points. Are you the best challenge to dethroning him as the Sprint Cup champ?
Well, I don't think anybody's a real challenge until they beat him. Obviously, they've done it 4 years in a row, and you can't disrespect anything that they've done, and you have to respect everything that they've done from a competitor's side, just for the fact that days when you think they're out of the game, they figure out a way to get back into the game. And I feel like those are the things that we've done this year on a couple of different occasions at Atlanta and even Bristol last week, for us to not be running well and be able to put ourselves back in position to get decent finishes out of the day and make something out of it. And those are the things that they're good at, and those are the things that we've been trying to get better at. So until somebody beats them, they're still the ones to beat.
Hey, Harv, I think you irritated the 48 bunch with your little horseshoe comment. You need to get somebody, though, to follow him around, because it will fall out one of these days.
Well, the thing about the horseshoe comment, I meant it in fun. And, it's one of those things where, they got lucky, but we've been lucky, too, and we didn't capitalize on a win. So that, those are the types of things I'm talking about. And when you get lucky or you make something out of something that probably, you shouldn't have been in that position and you make a win out of it, those are the types of things that I'm talking about that we have to do. So they may be lucky, but they're pretty dang good, too.
Well, get you a metal detector.
Hey, we are getting word, Kevin, and we're all finding out at the same time. The race has been postponed for today, so the race will run at noon Eastern time, noon local time here in Martinsville tomorrow, postponed because of rain on the track today. So before we let you go and get back to your Shell Chevrolet there with Richard Childress Racing, Kevin, just a thought on if that changes any kind of strategy or how you'll prepare for tomorrow, that what you would have done today. I guess he didn't have a lot to say about that.
You should have never told him the race was called.
He took off.
He left. I'm out of here.
I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Okay.
Oh, there he is.
They cut me off there.
Sorry about that, Kevin.
Yeah, I think that the first run is probably the thing that changes the most. It's just going to be really abrasive on the tires, and so you just kind of have to throw that first run away and really work on your car after that.
All right. Well, thanks. Have fun. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right. Thank you for your time. Of course, he'll be the pole sitter. He's the points leader. Are there any advantages, disadvantages for guys in the field with it? Yes, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, starting up front here at Martin is huge. I mean, that pit stall is important, but you're able to kind of set the pace here. Makes you much easier to take care of those brakes that are so important. And again, when you're up front, you got to fall through that entire field before you got to worry about getting lapped. A lot of pluses go with starting up front.
It's no better view than looking out your windshield and not seeing anything.
All right, so
that's the best view there is.
What does a driver do with the early afternoon off? Does he hang with his crew? Does he go back over notes? Does he get his mind away from the track?
I think they'll probably go watch some basketball. And and if you're Kevin Harvick, you raced yesterday, only a couple of 250 laps, but they'll give you a little chance to rest up a little bit. Denny Hamlin liced his knee a little bit. Guys will do a little driver maintenance this afternoon. They'll be ready to go in the morning.
Speaking of basketball, don't forget you owe Jeff Burton. You lost a bet.
Oh, your Kentucky team lost. I guess Denny Hamlin's going to have to move his surgery back a little bit on that.
I have to move mine back, too.
All right, so what should we look for? Now, remember Rick Dicker in the weather forecast said early showers, but then it should clear. It won't necessarily be sunny, but at least, and it'll be cool again, but at least it'll be dry.
Well, if we go the distance tomorrow, now you got to start planning about, well, the racetrack's going to be green. It's going to rubber up. What kind of changes is your car car go through? How much will the tires wear? All this stuff here will come into play, which we haven't seen so far this week. So a lot of big challenges for the crews right now to be anticipating tomorrow.
Harvick's got a big advantage because he has some tire data, but all those crew chiefs will be talking to guys that were in that race yesterday, finding out what their tires did and what they can anticipate for tomorrow.
Real quick, I know Kevin didn't want to address it. You know, he could be a free agent after this year. Would he start his own race team? Do you think he re-signs with Richard Childress Racing?
If things keep going like they are, he'll stay where he is. He was unhappy because the cars weren't performing. Once you get the car performing, driver's happy, and happy seems pretty happy right now.
Exactly. I agree with you on that right there. If they can get things turned around and keep them turned around, why go somewhere else and run the risk you don't have the chemistry?
Well, it's great talking to guys like Jeff Gordon today, even the crew chief for Dale Earnhardt Jr., Lance McGrew, getting us ready for tomorrow. We appreciate you hanging in there with us. Looks like the rain has stopped, but there's more on the way. Tomorrow we'll be good to go at noon Eastern on your Fox affiliate. We hope you tune in for Sprint Cup Racing presented by Nationwide Insurance from Martinsville. For the entire gang, I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for watching.